Welcome to the national championship for men's Division I NCAA ice hockey in Tampa, Florida. The Frozen Four, now the national championship between the Quinnipiac Bobcats, seeking their first Division I title in school history, against the Minnesota Golden Gophers, looking for their first hockey title in 20 years. I'm Matthew Mugno alongside Eric Zank. Eric, there are plenty of storylines coming into this game, but this is it. The last game of the season, this is what these players play for. All 43 skaters that are rostered have dreamt about this moment their whole lives. It's the biggest game of their career, as we have the ceremonial puck drop going on right now. Amalie Arena, they are on their feet. It is buzzing. I have never seen an arena like this in my life. Sellout crowd. You see yellow and gold for the Bobcats represented. You see the Golden Gophers fans all over the place. Tonight's the national championship, Eric, and what has to happen for each team to win this game, win the title, and be crowned the best team in college hockey? And a move around the net. Mensah makes a save and a score! On a poor turnover, the Golden Gophers, John Middlestat finds the back door, a wide open gaping net, and the Golden Gophers are up 1-0.
Well, Quinnipiac
on a rebound, they score! Jackson Nelson off the sideboard gets the puck past Gotti Brett, and the Gophers are up 2-0 now. Really in control here.
Well,
Mensah driving play, takes a shot, goes on net, they score! The Sherbrooke boys come through on the biggest stage in college hockey and cut the lead. Christophe Tellier, 1-2, the Bobcats have cut the lead. Graf to Mensah, Cooley's out of the box. Graf takes a shot and scores! Colin Graf scores! 2-2 game, 2:47 remaining. The Bobcats have tied the game. Colin Graf comes through in the biggest moment of his career.
Against Nelson, Quillen, puck goes into the Bobcats bench and we'll have another draw center ice. 2 seconds off the clock. It's not about time. Well, it is about time and space, but it's not about time on the clock. It's not about if you can escape a period. You have to win the game by making the play, scoring the goal.
that's it. I mean, we talk all game long about it being the defensive line and game defense first, and that doesn't change.
Looking in a pass, a move down it, they score! They score! Jacob Quillen has won the national championship for the Quinnipiac Bobcats, the first in their history! The Bobcats have done it all! They've slain the dragon! The Bobcats are going to Hamden, national champions! The 2023 national champions are the Quinnipiac Bobcats! Oh, have mercy! Have mercy! They've defeated the Minnesota Golden Gophers off the draw. Quillen beat it close on a forehand backhand 2-on-1. National champions!
They did it! Quinnipiac has done it, and they're pretty fun in the Frozen Four. Overall, they finally defeat their opponent. They are NCAA champions. And now at 20 seconds in the overtime, the Quinnipiac has done it. Beats Goliath. The Bobcats are the champions of college hockey. The Big Ten killers. The Bobcats knock off Bob Motzko and the Minnesota Gophers. Wow, what a play! Seconds into overtime, 10 seconds into overtime. The Bobcats tally a goal. The York Hill boys come through for the Bobcats, and they are national champions. The Bobcats take home the 2023 national championship from the Frozen Four in Tampa, Florida. They've done the deed, they've done it all. The Bobcats, right off into the sunset, will be forever ingrained in college hockey history. They've won their first national title ever. Rand Pecknold finally has gotten the job done after being snake bitten in 2013 and 2016. And they celebrate joyfully in their own end. What a move, what a goal. Jake Quillen has scribed his name in hockey history.
Welcome to the national championship for men's Division I NCAA ice hockey in Tampa, Florida. The Frozen Four, now the national championship between the Quinnipiac Bobcats, seeking their first Division I title in school history, against the Minnesota Golden Gophers, looking for their first hockey title in 20 years. I'm Matthew Mugno alongside Eric Zank. Eric, There are plenty of storylines coming into this game, but this is it. The last game of the season, this is what these players play for. All 43 skaters that are rostered have dreamt about this moment their whole lives. It's the biggest game of their career as we have the ceremonial puck drop going on right now. Amalie Arena, they are on their feet. It is buzzing. I have never seen an arena like this in my life. Sellout crowd. You see yellow and gold for the Bobcats represented. You see the Golden Gophers fans all over the place. Tonight's the national championship, Eric, and what has to happen for each team to win this game, win the title, and be crowned the best team in college hockey?
Oh, I think you said it all. The atmosphere alone sets the stage. 19,000-seat arena, sold out, not a single seat left open right now. The ceremonial puck drop, the stage is set, and for each team, defense has to be the priority. It's been a theme all year long, especially for Quinnipiac, but it's what it is. Defense has to be the main goal for Quinnipiac. Coming into tonight, they have the 6th best, Quinnipiac does, goals against in a single season in D1 history. 1.55 goals against average all year long, 6th best in D1 history. So right there shows you the type of season they've had, the way they've played all year, and a huge reason why they're one of 2 teams remaining right now in the NCAA tournament. It all comes down to tonight, Quinnipiac, Minnesota. It doesn't get better than this.
Now your starting lineups, a matchup that features 2 of the defending ECAC defensive forwards of the year. Skylar Brindamore, Ethan DeYoung, Desi Burgart with Jake Johnson, and captain Zach Metzu, who scored last game, with Yanni Peretz in net. And on the other side for the Golden Gophers, Mason Nevers, Jackson Nelson, and Bryce Brodzinski lining up with Jackson Lacombe, Mike Kester, and Justin Close in net. We're moments away from puck drop for the national championship. 2 teams remain, the Minnesota Golden Gophers, the Hamden Heavyweights, and the arena's on their feet again. The energy is electric in the Tampa Bay Lightning's home arena. We are inching closer and closer to puck drop. The officials for this game, NCDC, outside of both conferences, so the officials will have no bias. Puck's dropping right now. Skylar Brindamore against Jackson Nelson, and the Bobcats come away with it. The national championship is officially underway. Justin Close throws the puck out and it's over the blue line. Johnson collects and sends it over the blue line in for a dump. Skylar Brindamore on the forecheck, a heavy check. And look, Mike Kester is down on the ice. There's a penalty already. Kester down on the ice, struggling to get up. And it looks like there will be either a penalty assessed to Skylar Brindamore as the officials gather. There's already boos raining down.
Yeah, Skylar Brindamore's got to be careful. If you remember in Lake Placid, he was ejected for the game, and this play is now under review. So you never know. This might end up the same way for Skylar. He's got to be careful with a hit like that, especially this early in the game. One of the main talking points, especially surrounding this Minnesota team, Minnesota had 7 power plays 2 nights ago against Boston University. They are already going to have 1 here, it seems. It's just a matter of how long it'll be. So Quinnipiac has to, from this point forward, they're going to have to stay more disciplined than that. It is way too early to take a penalty like that.
Listen, it was freezing cold up in Lake Placid. There was snow. Down here, it's about 90 degrees. But it looks like we may have the same outcome as Skylar Brindamore. I think honestly, it looked like his arm did come up. He really leaned into that check on Kester. But he's taller than Kester, so I thought that's what kind of carried the momentum through. It's going to be interesting to see how this is ruled. Yeah, it looks like Kester's just shorter than Brindamore. Looked like shoulder to chest, it came up a little bit high, but there was not a lot of head contact, at least from the video review and the angles we've seen.
Yeah, that could probably go either way. I don't think it warrants what we saw in Lake Placid, but we'll find out here as the referee skates to center ice.
2 minutes, so that's a minor penalty for indirect contact to the head. Now, the Golden Gophers were 3 for 7 on the power play against Boston University. This is not how the Bobcats want to start a game.
Not at all. 3 for 7 is a very good night on the power play. It doesn't maybe sound it to the naked eye, but that is a tremendous night. Minnesota has a terrific power play, 37 for 136 on the year, 27.2% success rate. 3 for 7, as we mentioned, against Boston. So Quinnipiac has to be careful here and stay more disciplined the remainder of the game.
Now you have the three-of-a-kind line out there. Snuggerud, Nyes, Logan Cooley. If you haven't heard their names, we're probably going to be mentioning them all broadcast. The Bobcats now on the penalty kill. Logan Cooley on his forehand, shifts. He's dynamic. He can stop and start with all of them. Snuggerud takes a shot, and Peretz makes a nice pad save to parry away. Snuggerud, number 81 for the Gophers, is a pure sniper. Fine space, fine seams. And now the puck's out in front, and a rebound bobbles out. And it comes to the point again. Lacombe out to Snuggerud, who takes another one-timer, and Peretz stops him again. And the puck's out of the zone, and the Bobcats kill off and fend off that attack as there's 1 minute remaining on the power play for the Golden Gophers.
Well, they caught a big break there, the Bobcats did. Minnesota was coming in waves on that first power play attempt, and they still have, like as you mentioned, a minute to go, but Quinnipiac catches a break there.
Now Jacob Quillen, the Bobcats playoff performer this year, coming in shorthanded, takes a shot, and it's blocked. And he's still on the forecheck after it. But they'll reset. Bryce Brodzinski with the puck, lays it off to a defender. Mike Kester, who took the hit before, sends it off to Hugelin. Hugelin around the boards, but Jaden Lee intercepts and sends it down the ice again as it circles all the way down to Justin Close, who gets stick on it and lays it off to start the attack the other way. 30 seconds remaining on the power play. Kester drops it off. Hugelin off to a partner. The Golden Gophers off the wall. DeYoung steals it. Cruising over the blue line. He's 1-on-2, tries to make an inside-out move, and he's stopped. Kester with the puck again, head up. Finds a seam through Lipkin, but to no avail, and the puck's cleared out again. Lipkin and Graff, the penalty killers for the Bobcats of the York Hill boys line. The most productive and offensive line for the Bobcats. Skylar Brindamore out now, the number one faceoff man in the ECAC conference. One of the top faceoff men in the entire country. Now a poor clear by Johnson leads to a turnover. And a shot, Peretz makes a save. Lipkin sends one to Graff, hits off his stick and goes down ice. Didn't look like it appeared to, I thought it hit his stick in the air. Went down ice. Eric, not the start they wanted, but a confidence boost with a penalty kill.
Absolutely, not the start they wanted by any stretch, but that was a great kill. The first minute or so was a little nerve-wracking if you're a Quinnipiac fan. Not much, wasn't very promising defensive-wise, but after that, every puck they got to, they cleared it right away. If they could, they skated with it, and they were dogs on the puck. Every opportunity they had, they took it away on that in the second minute of that man advantage for Minnesota. So that was really promising to see on the second half of that man advantage.
They also they succeeded in clearing pucks the first time they got their stick on it. There wasn't a first attempt, a second attempt, and they're locked in the zone. They were getting pucks out right away. Now the Minnesota Golden Gophers in transition, and almost a takeaway from Friedman, but it comes out now to the Bobcats defensive end to regroup. Friedman almost hits Lombardi, streaking on in for a 2-on-1, but misses on the pass. And now the Golden Gophers transition the other way. A check off the puck, a nice stick check by the Bobcats, and there's some neutral zone play. Yanni Peretz made two big saves on Jimmy Snuggerud, the number 23 overall pick for the St. Louis Blues. He's a pure sniper, fine space. He's part of that three-of-a-kind line of Cooley, Nyes, and he himself, Jimmy Snuggerud. They really complement each other well. They were all within the top 15 of points in the entire NCAA this season. Two of them were up for the Hobie Baker Award. That was awarded last night, but Adam Fantilli came away with that. The other two, All-Americans. Now, Ivari Rossinen dishes off a puck around the boards, and there's a battle on the sideboards. Nyes battling with Lipkin, and Lipkin comes away with it. He tries to dish it pass off, but sends it into the offensive zone, and that'll be another icing for the Bobcats.
Well, I think the momentum, I don't want to say momentum shifting because Minnesota still has had the majority of puck possession, and Quinnipiac has yet to register a shot on goal. But I think after that penalty kill, Quinnipiac has started to level it out a little bit and slow the game down, and that has to be the main goal, especially when you're playing a defensive first game. You got to have control of the pace of play. You can't get it lit too out of hand.
Now Rhett Pitlick is tied up in the corner. The sevens line out for the Golden Gophers. That is Aaron Hugelin, Brody Lamb, and Rhett Pitlick. All have sevens in their jersey numbers, the seven line. Hugelin, who had the beautiful nifty pass against Boston University. That was a SportsCenter top play. Gets the puck off to Lacombe, and a block shot from Quillen gets it out of the zone. The York Hill boys line playing some promising defense there. Now puck circled out. Hugelin tries to dish it off for Pitlick, and it bobbles. Filling in with the puck, and now the Sherbrooke boys are on the ice. The Wonder Twins for the Bobcats in pursuit on the forecheck and a heavy check from Tellier. Chinesky and Air centering those two. Chinesky and Air in, F1. Tries to get the puck and Tellier. Fillion collects it at the point. A dump in by Jaden Lee, and the Bobcats are in pursuit again on the forecheck. Legault misses the puck as it goes through his legs at the blue line, and now Bryce Brodzinski makes a move to get a pass off, and a shot save on Chesley by Yaniv Peretz on a streaking Chesley coming through the slot. Jaden Lee with the puck, sends it off, and a dump out of the zone from Fillion. That line remains. Couldn't get a change there. Cipollone's on the ice. And the Bobcats will start from their own end.
That's it. I like the strategy. He's just hanging behind his net right now.
Slowing the pace down a
Slow
little
the
bit,
pace
right?
down. Exactly what we talk about.
And a turnover. And a move around the net. Metza makes a save and a score! On a poor turnover, the Golden Gophers, John Middlestat finds the back door, a wide open gaping net, and the Golden Gophers are up 1-0.
Well, Quinnipiac's going to have to be more careful than that. It was a bad break that got Yaniv Peretz out of his crease, way out of his crease, and it allowed Minnesota to capitalize on what was basically an empty net goal there. Unfortunate break if you're Quinnipiac, but that's what Minnesota does. You got to make it tough for them, and Quinnipiac just opened the door, essentially, left the net wide open, and they're here for a reason. They're the 1 seed. They are not going to let that opportunity go by.
Kurth took the puck on a poor turnover. It looked like Lee either broke his stick or just whiffed on the pass on the exit, and the puck came all the way to the blue line. Kurth took it all the way in, wrapped it around the net, created space. Yanni Peretz bit really, really hard, created a wide open back door, and John Middlestat finished. Now both Middlestat brothers, younger brothers of Casey Middlestat, who's a Buffalo Sabre, have scored in the last 2 games to help their team. Now Ethan DeYoung to the front of the net, and Burgard tips it just wide. Burgard with the puck below the goal line, gets it off to Brindamore, and the puck comes out to the point. Johnson collects, takes a shot, and it's stymied, and now Jimmy Snuggerud's moving on in. He takes a shot, and Peretz makes the save. The puck gets past Nyes, and now Cooley tries to intercept. He gets his large frame on it and checks Burgard off the puck, but Burgard's able to circle it into the zone. And the Golden Gophers start from their own end. C.J. McGee with the puck, sends it off to his partner. Charles Alexi Legault over the red line to Quillen. Quillen stops in the middle, whiffs on a shot, and the puck comes out of the zone. Nevers on the puck, tied up with Legault, and they'll start again from their own end. Lacombe possessing. Number 2, head on a swivel. Tries to dish it off, but Colin Graff causes a turnover. There's 3 Gophers on him. Tries to get the puck off to Lipkin, but can't. Ties it up along the boards, and Lipkin has it on his backhand to Graff, to the point. McGee, a shot through traffic and a save from close, and that'll be the Bobcats' second shot on net. Quillen F3 misses on a pass, and Brodzinski comes out. Nevers and Brodzinski on the forecheck. McGee up the boards, but it comes all the way out to Chesley. Chesley, a Washington Capitals draft pick, sends the puck into the Bobcats' end. Lee to McGee. McGee misses on the pass, recollects and sends it over the red line. Lipkin in. My apologies, that's Tellier. The Sherbrooke boys are officially on the ice. The Sedin twin-like energy, we'll see if they can bring that on this shift as they hound Lamb for the puck. Gophers go for the exit, are stymied, and a turnover in the neutral zone. Legault, head of steam, Fillion, a slap shot, it's blocked by Chesley. Fillion's checked into the boards, Tellier as well. They're doing battle below the circles. And Tellier's tripped off the puck, but no call. Looked like a check that sent him, and Legault goes down. Moving on in, Pitlick, but he's tied up and stopped. The Gophers surely have had a step here.
Great defense there from Raston, and he just prevented what could have been a clean break for Minnesota. Well, I like what I'm seeing out of Quinnipiac the last few minutes. Although they gave up the goal, they came right back, and they spent a lot of time in their offensive zone, putting pucks on net, trying to get pucks through. Some were blocked, some weren't. And that's what we like to see from a Minnesota perspective, is blocking shots. The Bobcats have been doing the same on their end. But in a game like this, sacrificing the body, doing whatever it takes to prevent the puck from getting to your goalie is absolutely huge. And both teams have been doing that so far.
Mike Lombardi, a shot off the points, blocked, and Metza takes a shot looking for a tip, and it goes wide. Friedman to the center, but it's intercepted. And the Gophers start the other way. Kurth into the zone, had the assist on the first goal and created that entire play off the Jaden Lee turnover. Metza Tries to find Lombardi cross ice, but it's broken up. And Friedman chips the puck in. The sandpaper for the Bobcats on the ice. Cipollone in deep with Lombardi. Mike Lombardi and Cipollone get possession, but it goes through Lombardi's legs and it comes out. The Bobcats disrupting play again on the forecheck, and Lombardi intercepts. He takes a shot and it just goes wide, looking for a little bit of space in between close blocker and pad. Puck chipped into the zone and it goes out of play, so it'll most likely be face off in the neutral zone. Now, the Bobcats had an All-American in Colin Graff and 2 second-team All-Americans in Peretz and Metza. And for the Minnesota Golden Gophers, their entire first line were All-American caliber players. That's the line to be wary of if you're the Bobcats. They didn't score the first goal, but they can certainly control pace and really dominate a game.
They absolutely can, and they show that because their style of play is to, as we mentioned just 2 nights ago, get under the skin of their opponent. And they can do that against anyone. It doesn't matter how many draft picks a team has, how much skill they have on paper. Any team you can get under their skin, and Quinnipiac's going to have to get back to that style of hockey, and I feel like they have been the last few minutes. But yeah, that top line for the Gophers is just, I mean, it's tough to beat. You look at it, Nye is on the left wing, Toronto Maple Leafs prospect. Logan Cooley centering the line, Arizona Coyotes prospect. Flanked on the right wing, Jimmy Snuggerud, St. Louis Blues prospect. That's a tough line when you look at it on paper, and it can be intimidating, especially if you're the Bobcats. But you just can't get out of that mindset of we got to stick to our style of hockey that's been working all year long, 33 wins this year, playing that way. And you can't deviate from that now. It's the last game no matter what happens. This is not the time to start playing a different style, a different approach. Stick to what has been working, the bread and butter for the Bobcats. Dirty, gritty hockey. Get under the skin of the opponent, and that's what they have to start doing.
And that record of 33 wins, it really pales in comparison to winning the national championship in this one game tonight. Cooley 60 points, Snuggerud 50, Nyes 42. Nyes and Cooley up for the Hobie Baker against Adam Fantilli, who the Bobcats successfully were able to shut down last game to advance to this national championship title game. The Bobcats have all of these awards, and again, this happens season in and season out, but their goal is to win the national championship, as it is for the Golden Gophers, who have not won in 20 years. They won back-to-back in 2002, 2003. Bob Moscow came over in 2018 after he coached the World Junior Championship team that won for the United States with Troy Terry, Charlie McAvoy, Adam Fox, in 2 shootout victories over Russia and Canada to seal the deal. Bob Moscow behind the bench coming over from St. Cloud, his alma mater, and really turning things around here for the Golden Gophers. Puck goes into the offensive end, and Logan Cooley, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania native, intercepts 92 with the puck, gets a shot off, and Nice and Snuggerud almost connect. Snuggerud with his 3rd shot attempt this game already. And Cooley checks Brindamore into the corner, no call. Nyes makes a nice move to cut to the net, and Peretz collects the puck, and there's a whistle, as it looked like the officials might have lost sight or thought it was still loose. That line surely is dangerous.
It is dangerous, and I think Quinnipiac just got a nice wake-up call there that they can't play lax. I think, that opening not opening face-off, but that face-off in the zone, I think Quinnipiac kind of was caught off guard right from puck drop, and it showed because Minnesota got that opportunity out of nowhere, and they kept pushing and pushing until Peretz was finally able to cover the puck. So maybe a wake-up call for the Bobcats that they can't take a shift off. This Minnesota team will not stop pushing. They will not take their foot off the gas all night long.
And Moscow surely does not want the matchup of Burgart DeYoung and Skylar Brindamore on that first line, because they're going to try and shut him down, as Moscow has Faber paired up against the top line for the Bobcats, or one of the 2 top lines, and Graff, Quillen, and Lipkin to shut them down. So both coaches, very similar styles of hockey that they like to coach, and we're seeing that here. Puck goes out of play, and we'll have another whistle and a face-off in the neutral zone. The Bobcats only have 1 shot on goal thus far. We're halfway through the first period. We had a TV timeout. 10:22 remains in the first, and we'll get a line change for both teams for this draw.
Yeah, well, I think since the goal, aside from that last play there from Quinnipiac, overall, since the first goal of the game for Minnesota, they have started to come back to their style of play a little bit and take control and slow the pace down so that they can kind of control it more, which is good to see if you're Rand Pecknold behind the bench.
And Rand preached time and space, and the Bobcats gave up a really poorly timed play with the turnover from Jaden Lee, the senior from Vancouver, Canada. Puck goes into the zone. Peretz sends around the boards, and the Sherbrooke boys are on the ice. A shot hits off of a forward. Hughlin and comes out, and now Tellier moves the other way. He's in between 4 different skaters for the Gophers, but is in on the forecheck. And Fillion and Tellier turn the same way and create some space for the Gophers to work with. Now a pass from Nordquist gets all the way through, and that'll be another icing. So the Bobcats struggling a little bit in transition here as well.
Yeah, they're struggling in transition. They're struggling to get across the blue line and set anything up in their O zone, but that's better than spending too much time in their D zone. So right now, just one step at a time if you're Quinnipiac. Yeah, they have a D zone face-off now, but goal should be win the draw, get to center, and just find a way to get the puck deep into their offensive zone so they can set up some sort of forecheck and start pummeling shots on their goaltender close, because they only have 1 to this point as opposed to Minnesota's 5.
Snuggerud around the boards, but it's collected by the Bobcats off the draw, and they'll head the other way. Skylar Brindamore misses on a pass to send him down center lane. McGee on his backhand, Pearl River native from Pearl River, New York. Highest population of Irish people outside of Ireland in the entire world. He'll send it in. Fillion goes for a change, and Brindamore is on it and as F1. Now Snuggerud and Cooley charging down the right wing. Send a puck into the zone and go to collect. Nyes and Snuggerud throw a big check on McGee. And the puck's around the boards. Faber keeps it in. Brock Faber, Minnesota Wild prospect, involved in the trade between LA and Minnesota for Kevin Fiala. He was the major piece coming the other way. Now DeYoung ties up a forward. And we'll have a stoppage of play. Ethan DeYoung scored the goal to ice the game, the empty netter for the Bobcats. He now leads all NCAA men's Division I ice hockey players in games played ever with 183. That's because he's a 5th year. He earned that COVID year because 1 year of eligibility was given to these athletes due to the unfortunate circumstances of the pandemic. Now, we were talking about that first line. Cooley, 22 goals. Snuggerud, 21. Nyes, 21. Brodzinski's right there with 19. So just because the Gophers' first line is that electric 3-of-a-kind line, the Bobcats will have to slow down the rest of the Gophers, as they've really had most of the possession in the first period.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you look at their forward lines, even their defensive prospects. I mean, the entire roster is loaded with NHL prospects. And I know that, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be the best team, but this season it has for Minnesota. Mm-hmm. They have Brodzinski on the second line, Philadelphia Flyers prospect. Their entire third line is filled with NHL prospects. So the entire roster is filled with stars, a lot of them worthy of the National Hockey League. So, yeah, Quinnipiac has to be careful. And as I mentioned, you can't take a shift off. You can't go out against the fourth line and go, all right, this is going to be an easier shift. This might be a, lighter workload. It's not going to be, because even their fourth line right winger, Kurth, Tampa Bay Lightning prospect. Mm-hmm. He's playing at the arena that he soon may play for their home team eventually here in Tampa Bay. So, like I said, every line you have to go like full force as if it's their best line, as if it's the best line in hockey, or else you're not going to have luck. You're already down by 1 here. You got to buckle down if you're Quinnipiac and just start playing. As I mentioned, Quinnipiac-style hockey.
And the sevens line also features Red Pitlick, a Canadiens prospect. His brother plays for the team, Rem Pitlick. Red Pitlick scored arguably one of the best college hockey goals of all time in the Big Ten Championship that they lost to Michigan. They lost that game 4-3, but he did score a beautiful goal in that game, so third-line player contributing on the offensive side. And the Gophers win the draw. Faber to his partner, Johnson. Faber moving up ice. 14, the captain of the Gophers, sends a puck over the red line. His style described as defensive defenseman. They want him against the York Hill boys, who are moving in 3-on-2. Lipkin over, but it's called an offside on Quillen, and the puck will come into the neutral zone for another draw. Now, the Bobcats have 2 of the top face-off men in the entire nation in Friedman and Skylar Brindamore, but Brindamore in the box early didn't help the team on the penalty kill, and it looks like the pendulum hasn't swung in the offensive zone yet for the Bobcats, who took control early against Michigan just 2 nights ago. Yeah,
I'd say it's evened out a little bit, but it certainly has not fallen in to the hands of Quinnipiac yet. And that opportunity there, the 3-on-2 that was whistled for offsides, that's one of those opportunities you can't pass up against this Minnesota team. That could have been a quality scoring opportunity if it weren't just a step offside.
Lipkin moving down the slot, and Quillen's tied up. Minnesota Gophers denying any entry into that middle of the ice slot. We saw the Bobcats play teams like Cornell and Harvard that also don't allow teams to get into the inside of the ice. So they should have some experience with that. Johnson down to Graff below the circles. He takes a shot, and the rebound comes in front, and it's stymied. Lipkin stymied in front, and Graff takes a shot, and it's saved by Close. Oh, no, it's tied up by a defender and sent out of the zone. Brodzinski with it, moves around Graff, sends the puck into the zone, and they'll look for a line change. That shot came off Graff's stick so hard from the point as he collected it, I had no idea where it went.
Well, and that just shows, Quinnipiac, they're relentless. That play all started with Rastin at the blue line just barely reaching up high enough to glove that puck and keep it into the zone onside. And that's where that play all came from, keeping the forecheck alive. And that's what they have to do. They have to stay relentless. They have to keep digging on pucks that maybe you think, you don't have a shot of getting it. You got to keep digging, because that forecheck wouldn't have happened. For a simple play that Rastin had just gloved the puck down, but it was a tough play for him to make. He made it, and a goal almost came away from it.
It's all about the small and simple plays, like you're saying, especially on keep-ins and any chance they can get to keep possession. The Golden Gophers win the draw, but the Bobcats are hustling them. Nordquist and Friedman on the puck. Now Johnson battling below the circles as the Gophers go to battle in the corner. John Middlestat, Connor Kurth, and Garrett Pinanimi on the ice. The Gophers come away with the puck and go to work. Garrett Pinanimi working it to the point. A shot flutters off the stick but goes wide. And Lombardi gets tied up with the same defender as Friedman, allowing the Gophers to get to work again. Nordquist sends a puck into the middle of the ice, and a shot goes over and high off the glass, and the whistle's just blown. Looks like there's been some blunders so far, maybe not by the officiating crew, but some fast-moving pucks that I think even that one, I'm not sure if it went off the netting or off the glass, but a lot of plays that between the shot from Graff kind of bouncing all over the place, the offside that may have been a little bit questionable, and now that play, the puck's been moving all around the ice tonight.
Yeah, I believe I saw that one hit the net, so that was the right call to make there. But that was, a good break for Quinnipiac there, because that was it could have been a really crucial turnover in their own zone. Luckily, it was blocked into the netting, so no harm, no foul on that play. But the Bobcats definitely are going to have to buckle down a little bit here and play more tight checking hockey, because only 2 shots, just about 14 minutes into this game.
Legal sets up DeYoung, who gets tripped up into the slot by Nice, and it comes out the other way. The 3-of-a-kind line on the ice for the Minnesota Gophers. Some tie up in the neutral zone playing. Snuggerud controlling pace. He sends it all the way in. Cooley on it. First year. Off to Nice. Nice to Snuggerud. He goes for another attempt, and it comes out. A pass. Peretz bites a little bit hard, but Brindamore makes a block, and he comes the other way. Brindamore and DeYoung. DeYoung dishes it off to nobody. He thought he had a winger coming with him, but the Bobcats exit on a poor change. Now in their defensive end, Lee and Snuggerud go to battle. And it looks like one of the Quinnipiac defenders goes flying over an Aaron stick, but I'm not sure if it was his own teammates or not. Puck's in out of the zone, and Chesley with it. Passes it off. Collects again. Sends it off the boards and into the zone. McGee in on after it. On his horse. Using his body to evade any of the Sevens line coming in on him. Sevens line on the ice for the Minnesota Gophers. Lamb on it, but Quillen intercepts. And he takes a heavy check from a defender as the puck hits off the official, and Graff collects. Graff one-hands it to nobody. McGee sends it off to his goaltender, and he covers. The Bobcats are struggling to possess right now.
Yeah, good call there from Peretz to just cover that one and get a whistle. He'll have to deal with a defensive zone faceoff, but he'll take that, because that was almost a really, really close call there from Quinnipiac. Just another, poor defensive blunder there, trying to one-stick it out of the zone. Games like this, sometimes you try to do too much. When you look around you, there's 19,000 people watching you. You know the magnitude of the game. Sometimes you do things that maybe you wouldn't in a smaller scale of a game. But if your head coach Rand Pecknell, you just got to remind your players, the game within the glass and the boards on the 200-foot ice surface is the same game that they've played all year long.
Now Graff with the puck, sends it to the opposite side for Metza, who collects. Zach Metza scored the dagger the other night against Michigan on a play off the boards assisted by the Sherbrooke boys. Puck to the point. Lipkin takes a shot into the zone, but there's no forwards there to forecheck, and the Gophers collect. Lamb goes the other way, hits off his stick, and a chip out to nobody. Finds a stick of Brock Faber. Brock Faber off to Lacombe, Anaheim Ducks prospect number 2, back to his partner. The captain swings it around the boards. Lacombe with the puck. At the NCAA logo behind his net, He sends the second line forward. Jackson Nelson trying to collect, but Chinecki Nair comes away with it. And the Sherbrooke boys are in on the forecheck. Tellier and Fillion in. Chinecki Nair collects off to Fillion below the circles in the offensive end for the Bobcats. The Bobcats, typically wearing gold as they had the other night, are donning their navy jerseys for that national championship game against the Golden Gophers, who are down in their white jerseys. Lee tries to knock the puck down to his partner and succeeds. Norquist sends it the other way to Fillion. Fillion looking to get it over the line, misses on the pass. Puck's coming the other way. Nelson checked by Lee, and it's an onside play. Fillion with it in the neutral zone. Fillion taken down. No call there as the puck goes on net, and close covers, close, virtually unchallenged so far with 3:56 remaining in the first period. The Bobcats were the runner-up in the 2013 and 2016 National Championship. They're looking for their first, and Minnesota wants their first in 20 years, as they made it in 2014 but lost to an ECAC team 7-4, the Union Dutchmen, in the National Championship. That's the last time they were here as well. So Bob Mosco's looking for his first. Rand Pecknell's looking for his first as a head coach as well. And they're also looking to deliver the first national championship for their team in quite some time, and for the first in the Bobcats' history.
Yeah, both teams have something to prove here. You know, if you're Quinnipiac, as you mentioned, runner-up 2013, runner-up 2016. First time in the Frozen Four since that 2016 year that featured guys like Devon Taves, you know, Stanley Cup champion last year with the Colorado Avalanche. Connor Clifton, current defenseman with the Boston Bruins, native of Long Branch, New Jersey. A lot of guys there that have proven themselves in the NHL, and we don't know where some of these players on the current Bobcat team will end up one day. There's no way of, you know, there's three NHL prospects. If they'll pan out or not, we'll see. But yeah, both of these teams have something to prove here, and as you mentioned, Minnesota hasn't won in over 2 decades, so it's been a while, and both teams have something to prove. So they both have a lot of pride, and you can tell, and especially with Minnesota they're playing more of a physical game right now, and Quinnipiac is going to have to start to respond in that area, because that call right before the whistle blew, I think some of the fans here, the Bobcat fans, wanted a penalty. I thought it was a clean hit, and I think Minnesota's just laying the body more. They're doing some of the more dirty work that needs to be done to succeed in a game of this magnitude, and Quinnipiac's going to have to match it. It's still early. They still have time. They're only down by 1, but they're going to have to amp up their level of play here.
I certainly agree that the Bobcats, they're bringing the energy, but they're not really getting the bounces that we saw against Michigan, not even with the goals, but just the plays out of their own end. The pace of play is certainly being driven by the Gophers currently. Now, they have a face-off in the offensive zone, and they have their sandpaper out there right now. Both teams, interestingly enough, did not win their conference championship. So the Big Ten Conference, since its inception in 2014, the Gophers have won before, but they did not win this year. They lost to Michigan on their Olympic-sized skating ice. So they had to make that adjustment coming into the Frozen Four and Regional, because the Minnesota Gophers home rink, 3M Arena, is actually Olympic-size ice as opposed to NHL-size ice or college-size ice. Now Brodzinski chips the puck into the zone, and Legault collects behind his net and looks to start things the other way. Cipollone goes through his legs, and a shot from the point gets through, and Peretz makes a nice save. Johnson can't get it out from in front. Freeman doing battle as well, but gets a tip on it. Johnson again can't get the puck out of the zone. Freeman, a heavy check at the boards at the point, tries to send Johnson streaking on in, but misses. And he sends the puck out again for another line change, and the Gophers are just waiting to go on the offense. In the corner, Nelson's checked off the puck, and Graff gets the puck on his stick, makes a move to Quillen. Quillen, feet wide, turns, pivots, and looks for a pass. Dishes it off to Graff. Graff at the top of the circle takes a shot, and Close makes a save even though he was going the opposite direction. He pushed off and still got the puck under his armpit.
Well, I like what I saw there from Graff. He skated with it. He had a lot of patience on that play to wait to shoot it. He didn't just get the puck and rifle it. He waited, found an open lane, and shot off a puck that he knew would at least get on goal. It wouldn't have been blocked or ricocheted anywhere else besides on the goalie. So although it wasn't a goal, I do like the patience there from Graff to open up a lane for himself to register Quinnipiac's third shot on net.
Skylar Brindamore wins the draw, but the two teams still going to battle. The shutdown line for the Bobcats against the 3-0 line kind for the Gophers as they move in. Snuggerud to the net, and Lee turns coolly upside down, and there's no call. Desi Burgard off the boards to try and get it out of the zone, and Metza collects. Metza facing forward to DeYoung. DeYoung makes a move to get around Snuggerud. DeYoung cutting through the neutral zone to Lee. Lee Looks for a pass, shovels it, but there's no one there as Nice goes to collect. He has some room. Lee goes for a check and he shakes off of it. Now Cooley looked like he had a 2-on-1 opportunity with Snuggerud. Dumps it off as he cut to the inside, but dish it off to his backhand to Snuggerud. And he's being hustled at the point by Brindamore, and the puck comes out. Brindamore now has an opportunity to move with it. Shakes it off his backhand and looks for a line change. Fillion the first one in. Sherbrooke boys on the ice. Tellier and Fillion. The dynamic duo and Wonder Twins for the Bobcats have been crucial in their success in tournament play. The puck coming the other way. Chesney makes a move, but it's stymied by Nordquist, and he tries to send Fillion, but it shakes off his stick. Friedman in. On the forecheck, a pass to Chesley. Off to Huglin. Huglin moves through 2 Bobcats through the neutral zone, takes a shot, and it's sticked wide. Nordquist doing work on Huglin below the circles, but Huglin possesses, using his frame to protect the puck. A point shot from Chesley hits off a defender in front. And there's a lot of bodies in front of the net for both teams as they're really looking to shut things down in the slot. Fillion sends it around the boards, and it's collected by Faber. Faber around to Chesley. Chesley off his backhand, a turnover. Quillen with it behind the net, and he gets dumped by Faber. Now Lipkin possesses the puck. It shaked off his stick, and Chesley sends it out of the zone. 1:17 on the clock remaining as the Bobcats will have a face-off in the other end. 3 shots on goal so far. Haven't really challenged close enough so far.
No, except for that one shot by Graf. You know, we always say get pucks on net, you never know what can happen, but that one was even right into his chest protector. The shot that I praised just a few minutes ago. But yeah, overall, Quinnipiac has really struggled getting anything on net. Only 3 shots all game. Meanwhile, Minnesota only has 6. Granted, one of them was a goal. So Quinnipiac hasn't done a poor job defending, but they're going to have to turn that into some offense.
Lipkin and Quillen doing work behind the net. Faber doing a really stout job getting things in front, and a rebound comes out. It's in the slot, a shot, another shot, close on it, and the puck comes out of the zone. The Bobcats had a really good chance to jam things away as their most skilled line was doing the dirty work. And now Quillen again on one skate, makes a move in the neutral zone, gets a pass off, and Graf tries to dump it in. Couldn't really possess, gets the puck out, but Johnson fumbles it at the point, and it comes out. Kurth with a good move, but it's broken up in the neutral zone. Lipkin sending the puck in, and now Graf's the first forechecker in, looking for a line change, though. And Brindamore is out. The play broken up by Burgard in the neutral zone. Brindamore off to his defensive partners. Rossinen up to Burgard, who tips the puck into the zone, and DeYoung and Brindamore get on their horse. DeYoung, a big check in the corner. Puck out to Rossinen. Rossinen dumps the puck in. A defender loses his glove, but Faber has it. Recollects. Head up. Looks to break out of the zone with 7 seconds left. Snuggerud off to Nice. Nice looking to make something out of this play with 3 seconds left. He takes a shot in his glove by Peretz. And there's 0.1 seconds on the clock. Oh boy, that would have been something if that got past Peretz.
That would have been devastating for Quinnipiac in a brutal way to go into the first intermission here. Luckily, Peretz, ECAC goalie of the year, says no problem, I got it with a glove. But yeah, 0.1 seconds left. You assume the horn's going to sound almost before the puck is even dropped. And we'll head to the first intermission, 1-0 Minnesota. And overall, I think it's been not Quinnipiac's best period, but the last few minutes, it seems they've been starting to play more solid, more sound defense. The horn sounds now.
Agreed, it seems not necessarily that the bounces aren't going their way, but having a tough time keeping pucks in the zone at the blue line, getting things, controlling the pace of play. So the Bobcats will certainly have to get to work and have their work cut out for them as they are down 1-0 now. A reminder, Minnesota and Boston University, it was a 1-goal game before 2 empty netters from Logan Cooley, so that's why the score looked inflated in that game. It was very close in the third period. The second period ended tied as well, so the Bobcats certainly have to find a way to get on the board and generate more than just 3 shots on close.
Absolutely, and if they do, like I said, if they can keep playing the way they kind of closed out that period, it still wasn't perfect. It still wasn't the way they played against Michigan, especially in that first period, but it was more like that than how they started tonight's game. Tonight's game did not start in the Bobcats' favor at all, and I think as the period went on, they started to tilt the ice more even than anything. Not necessarily in their favor, but it was definitely more of an even game as the period went on. So if they just keep trending in that direction, they should be okay. They're only down by 1.
Down by 1, the Bobcats head into the first intermission and look to turn the tide in the national championship against the Minnesota Golden Gophers. We'll be back in 14 minutes for the second period of action here on QBSN Radio. Welcome back to the national championship. Puck drop for the second period, just about coming along here. The Bobcats are playing against the Minnesota Golden Gophers, a team that's been around since 1922. They've played 100 seasons. The university's been around for 172 years. They have 54,000 students on campus, and it is located in Minneapolis, St. Paul, Minnesota. They've traveled all the way down to Tampa. The Bobcats traveling all the way from a small town, Hamden, Connecticut, right outside of New Haven. They meet at center ice here in the national championship game, the pinnacle of college hockey, Division I ice hockey that is. Both programs truly the best out of the regionals that they played in, truly the best programs in college hockey right now. They look to be crowned the #1 in the entire nation. Second period underway here. The Bobcats are down 1-0. The Gophers striking first on a goal from one of two Middlestat brothers, not named Casey, who's in the NHL. Puck drop underway here. Puck in over the red line. The Golden Gophers send it in, and Lee gets the puck around the boards to start the breakout to a winger, Ethan DeYoung. Lee at the logo behind the net. Gets a pass off to Brindamore and tries to hit Ethan DeYoung in stride, but good positioning breaks that play up. Circle back out of the zone on a regroup, and Burgart's over the blue line. He takes a shot and a rebound comes out. Close giving up a rebound. That's the first one we've seen of that type this game. The Bobcats intercepting in the neutral zone. Ethan DeYoung slows it down, gets the puck to Desi Burgart, who takes a defenseman for a ride, pumps the brakes, and gets the puck around the boards. DeYoung collecting. Tries to get a pass through to Lipkin, cutting through the slot. Puck out to the blue line now. Metsa controlling, the 49th captain in team history. Finds his defensive partner, and it comes back to him. At the top of the circle, looking to find some time and space to work with. Tries to take a shot, but it hits off of the skate of Nevers and out of the zone.
Well, I think Quinnipiac so far in the second period has really kind of controlled most of the zone time.
Metsa shot. Lipkin gets a piece of it. Tries to throw it off of the back of the goalkeeper like he had 2 nights ago on Portillo, scoring the go-ahead goal. Doesn't work. Puck comes out after they try and jam it away. Nyes coming through the zone, number 89 for Minneapolis, driving to the net. 6-foot frame, big body. He uses that to his dynamic advantage. He's a really great skater. On top of that, big frame, 6 feet tall. Colin Graff shaking off the puck. Lipkin tries to dish it back to him, and he's checked again. And now Cooley comes the other way. Cooley with great speed, feeds it off to Nyes, who tries the spinning move, but it's broken up, and Cipollone comes the other way, driving down the right wing, takes a toe drag shot on Close, who just gets a piece of it as it goes a little bit over his shoulder. Nyes off to Cooley. Cooley pumping the brakes laterally. A great move to tie things up along the boards and look for teammate support, but the puck comes out of the zone. Middlestat. It comes back to him. Number 20 driving into the zone for the Gophers. He sends it into the boards far side, and Lombardi backhands it around the boards to start the breakout. Nordquist, a cutoff, and a toe drag shot is broken up. Huglin would have had a prime opportunity in the slot to capitalize on Yanni Peretz, but couldn't pull the trigger as that play was disrupted. Nordquist tries to get the puck up the wall, but it's disrupted by Pitlick. Pitlick still doing work on the forecheck, keeping the puck in their offensive end. Not possessing Tellier in the neutral zone, sends it into the offensive zone as they look for a change. Friedman on the ice now. Puck goes over Tellier. Pitlick bounces off his stick, and Legault collects towards the Minnesota Golden Gophers bench. Minnesota, Lee, up ice to Chinesky in air, gets past him. And they go to work below the dots. A scrum comes around to Legault at his feet, kicks it to Fillion, who can't collect. And now the Gophers get to the puck first on the forecheck. A pass out to the point. Thomas over to his partner, and it's tipped just wide. Hard shot, rings around the boards, and Chinesky Nair comes away with it. Rand Pecknold called Chinesky Nair the best player on the ice in the ECAC loss, semifinal loss in Lake Placid, as he did perform very well in the two-way game. Chinesky Nair knocks the puck down, takes a shot. Close makes the save. No one there to collect the rebound. Chinesky Nair again at the hashes. Sends a puck in for DeYoung to Hunt. He's closed off, and the Gophers come away with it. Through the neutral zone, Brindamore collects. Puck hops over a stick, and the Gophers look to go the other way.
Well, Bobcats have started off this period with their foot on the gas all the way, full throttle. They've had the majority of zone time, which is what you want to see, because the first period they were on their heels for the majority of it. And whatever Rand Pecknold said in that first intermission has worked to this point. I know they haven't put one in the back of the net yet, but they've now matched Minnesota's shot total 8 apiece. So that's a great sign. That's a great start here to this second frame for the Bobcats.
McGee, good turnover in the neutral zone, tries to find a streaking graph, and it's considered an icing. Now, there are so many Minnesota Gophers fans in the building, and one of the reasons for that, one of the coaches, John Moriarty, he was the philosopher behind stacking the team with only Minnesota talent. He believed this would grow the game in Minnesota, and it has. Why? There's only 4 skaters on this team that aren't Minnesota natives. 2 of them, Cooley and Nyes, and they're just so talented. It was hard not to recruit players of that talent off of the U.S. development program. A shot from the point for the Gophers goes wide, and a rebound. They score! Jackson Nelson off the sideboard gets a puck past Gotti Perez, and the Gophers are up 2-0 now. Really in control here.
Well, that's one way to turn the tide. Quinnipiac had most of the momentum to start this period, but all it takes is one bounce, one unlucky bounce for the Bobcats off the end wall. It beats Quillen. I don't even think he knew that it was going to come. It was going to bounce that far off the wall. And he was there to bury it for Minnesota there. So tough bounce for Quinnipiac. But again, they started this period the way they wanted to, the way I'm sure Rand Pecknold said, look, this is how we're going to have to play. So they can't hang their heads on this. They can't get 2 down right now. Yes, they're down by 2 on only 9 shots. That doesn't look good on paper. But to start this period so far, they haven't been playing bad hockey. That was just, a bad break for the Bobcats. So just get back to the way they've been playing to start this middle frame.
Brock Faber had the assist. He took the shot from the point, loaded up on his back foot, took a heavy wrister off the sideboards, an old Boston Bruins play that they used to run all the time in their successful heyday in the 70s. They would shoot the puck off the end boards so the puck would come out and there would be an open space between the goaltender's back. The Bobcats took advantage of plays like that against Michigan, but haven't been able to generate offense like that this game. Now, the York Hill boys line is on the ice. They've probably been the best and most prolific for the Bobcats in the offensive end this game so far. Metza bobbles it off his stick and tries to get it around a defender. Comes around the boards. Faber again to Johnson, his partner. Johnson back to Faber, the captain, off the boards. Metza cuts it off, captain. Metza dumps it in. And they go to work. Cipollone, number 17, chasing it down. The Italian stallion behind the net. TJ Freeman with the puck, sends off a backhand. A pass off Lombardi's stick to Cipollone behind the net. Cipollone going to work, stops and starts to Nordquist. Nordquist almost fumbles it at the point, goes wide. A shot from Lee at the point, and a tip just goes wide from Lombardi. Mike Lombardi, the Rhode Island native. Matthew Nyes with it, one-on-one with Nordquist. Nordquist a good poke, and now Nyes is first to it. 6-foot frame, gets to the puck first. Jaden Lee, 15, tied up with Hugelin. Hugelin to the net, tries to cut in front. Nyes out to the point. A shot from Chesley, bobbles around, pinballs, but is broken up, and Cipollone comes away with it. Cipollone off to Nordquist. Nordquist recollects, sends a pass off to Cipollone over the red line, dumps it off his backhand, and force the Bobcats to forecheck. Desi Burgard in there first. Puck comes all the way around. Charles Alexi Legault, the first year for the Bobcats, sends the puck into the zone. Close. Inching it towards a defender who comes away with it. And a successful breakout east to west. Hugelin driving the play. Chips it off his backhand around the boards. Ivari Rossinen, the Finnish native, going to work. He's tied up by Pitlick. And the sevens line out for the Gophers. Rossinen off to Legault. Legault, head up, driving play. A dish off. And a drive. Cipollone, my apologies, Brendan Moore to the net. DeYoung gets a shot, a rebound comes out. Pillow comes away with it. Metza has the puck on his stick as he knocked that away. A pass through the crease and a fumbles off of a defender and over the net. A shot from the point, a tip. Brendan Moore tries to turn around and take a shot, but it falls off his stick. The Bobcats just not getting the bounces that they were getting against Michigan thus far this evening.
Not getting the bounces, but the last sequence there is a good sign that they're not hanging their heads too low after that second goal. Their response, even after the first goal, their response was great to that one, and this one's probably even better. They're still getting great opportunities. they've yet to bury one, but now they have the advantage in the shot total, which is a good sign for Quinnipiac.
Metza driving play, takes a shot, goes on net, they score! The Sherbrooke boys come through on the biggest stage in college hockey and cut the lead. Christophe Tellier, 1-2, the Bobcats have cut the lead.
Well, we always say, get pucks on net, and you never know what's going to happen. Metza just flung it to the crease. Tellier's there to bury it, and that's Quinnipiac hockey. That might not show up on a highlight reel anywhere, but that is one of those goals where you crash the net. You get those dirty goals in the crease when you're in the blue paint, and it doesn't matter at the end of the day whether it's a fancy goal or whether it's a dirty goal. It still counts on the board. Quinnipiac slashes the lead in half.
Christophe Tellier, who sent the Bobcats to the Frozen Four with a beautiful goal in the regional, tallies another one, the Sherbrooke native with his twin-like friend on the ice. Zach Metza connecting with Tellier. Tellier the assist on the Metza goal last night. Now they're coming the other way. Jake Quillen tries to get a pass off to Graff, and it's intercepted. And the Gophers get into the offensive zone, but it's broken up. Lee dishes it off. Hits off of Brodzinski, but Graff comes away with it, hits off his stick, and we have a stoppage of play. There's some energy in the building now and some energy for the Bobcats here as things were really shifted in Minnesota's favor. Zach Metza created that play, cut it off at the point, brought the puck all the way to the bottom of the circle, has got the pass in front, and as you mentioned, Quinnipiac hockey. That's what they've been doing all year. They drove to the net. Tellier gets a dirty goal, and now the lead is cut. First TV timeout of the period with 11:49 remaining. Eric, how do the Bobcats build off of this, and what was it like for the Bobcats here? What did it feel like when they were down 2-0?
Well, it didn't feel good. Obviously, we just heard the first "Let's Go Bobcats" chant in a very long time, so that's a good sign for the team itself that they have some life now. And you know, I wouldn't be surprised if some of the players were looking at the Minnesota roster and going, man, it's going to be tough to score against these guys. But now that they have that one goal, the seal's been broken, potentially. And I think that may have been a huge weight off the shoulders of the entire roster, the entire lineup on the ice right now for the Bobcats that, okay, they just proved they can beat the goalie. They can beat this team. They just have to dig deeper, play some gritty hockey. Like we mentioned, you know, that was just a pass from almost below the goal line. Metza just flung it to the crease. Never know what's going to happen. Luckily for Quinnipiac, it ended up going in. And that's what we always say, get pucks on net, good things happen. And for the Bobcats there, it did.
You know what? I'll take another route of how things change as well. It's the big C. It's confidence. As you mentioned, they broke the seal. Not only that, I'm sure they were looking at this roster, the way the Gophers have been playing defense in Motzko's system, saying, hell, how are we going to score here? You know, it certainly didn't seem like they were going to get opportunities like that. Metza creates a play, draws defenders, and that opens up Tellier driving to the net. Perfect way to break the seal. They capitalize on the opportunity, and the Bobcats will face off, looks like in the neutral zone right now against the Gophers following that TV timeout. Shout out Alan, Christine, Mugno. My parents were just on the big screen. Emily Arena having one of the biggest jumbotrons in America, actually. So Alan, Christine, Mugno looking good on the big screen. They have their headphones too because they have to listen to this QBSN broadcast, of course. They're in the building, but I'm sure the Zanks are listening as well. I'm sure
yes,
a lot of people are probably listening in Hamden as well if they're not at Eli's on Whitney watching the game with the watch parties. Now Brindamore in the face-off dot. ECAC leader in face-off wins and percentage. Gets a puck off to DeYoung, who takes a one-timer and hits off of a pad and out. Cooley coming the other way. Bobcats going to have to defend well here against Logan Cooley and the three-of-a-kind line. Nordquist doing a good job parrying Cooley, and the puck comes out of the zone and all the way out. There'll be an icing.
Yeah, and I don't mind seeing that icing there. You know, Minnesota, you don't want to risk a great forecheck. Now they're going to have a defensive zone face-off, but you don't want to take any chances. And the Quinnipiac players, after that TV timeout, aren't necessarily gassed right now. So you get the puck. Your only option there, it seemed, was to clear it, take it. You know, it could have prevented a really solid forecheck there for Minnesota.
Logan Cooley against Skylar Brindamore on the faceoff dot. Brindamore has had his work cut out from the last two games. He was against Adam Fantilli, who took home the Hobie Baker last night on the nice wharf here in Tampa. They presented the trophy to him just about 24 hours ago. Brindamore and Cooley all tied up, coming down to the teammates surrounding them to get the puck out, and the Bobcats succeed. DeYoung bobbling the puck, absolutely dumps Matthew Nyes, the 52nd overall draft pick for the Toronto Maple Leafs in last year's draft. And another icing as the Bobcats send the puck over the red line without being over the red line.
Yeah, well, you mentioned Brindamore having his work cut out from the last 2 games. I'm sure Michigan and Minnesota as well have been saying that whoever takes the faceoff against number 22, they have the work cut out for them as well. You know, Skylar Brindamore, we mentioned earlier, one of the top faceoff men in the entire nation. So no shortage of wins in the faceoff dot for Quinnipiac this year, and Skylar Brindamore is a huge reason for that.
Brindamore has alluded to watching game footage of face-offs against opponents he's going to play. So he really takes that seriously. It's what he's built his game off of, and all the other physical specimen aspects like his size, speed, have come with that after winning face-offs and becoming an integral part of the team by being a face-off man as the 2C on this Bobcats roster. Nyes sends a puck into the zone, and he's closed off by Johnson and Tellier. Metza, head up, the captain, with the assist on the first goal. Gets a puck off, and now Quillen takes a shot on close, and it goes wide. Lipkin, Quillen, and Graff on the ice. The York Hill boys line on the ice for the Bobcats. Metza closing off Chesley. And Coolian in the offensive zone. Johnson breaks a pass off. The former RPI engineer transfer, a 5th year, comes to the Bobcats, and in his only season with the Bobcats, he has gone to the national championship game. Bobcats fumbling with the puck in the offensive zone. Rhett Pitlick coming away with it. Pitlick kind of falling over Lipkin's stick. Looked like he just lost his footing, and the 7 lines is out. A nice play created, a dump off, and a shot goes over the net. It looked like Peretz had his head in the sky. I thought it went in, but a great 3-on-2 based off and created off of a neutral zone turnover for the 7s line. Sees Hughlin shoot the puck and sky it way over the net. I thought it went in.
Yaniv did too. You mentioned, he looked right up at the sky thinking, oh, that must be a goal. And yeah, from our vantage point, it did look like it was going to be one. And a really lucky break there for Quinnipiac. They're going to have to take advantage of that. If they can come away with a victory tonight by the final horn, look at that as a potential turning point, because that was a great break. Really lucky there for the Bobcats.
Now Cipolone moving in with the puck. Puck comes into neutral zone. Lombardi taps it, but has to come back onside. And they'll find Hughlin streaking with speed to break the puck out of the zone. Catching some wind behind him. A pass off to Johnson, and the Gophers look to reset. A pass off to Faber. Both captains had an assist on the first goal of this game, and it was a primary assist, so they drove the play. Faber with the puck again, off to Johnson, 23. Sending the puck into the offensive end, goes through Lee's legs, collects on his backhand, sends the puck to Friedman curling. Friedman, head up, hits Lombardi in stride through the neutral zone, but he fumbles the puck, and it goes into the offensive zone off Lombardi's stick, and they look for a change. Shineski and Air on the ice now. First man stepping at the blue line. Rand Pecknold called his system 1-1-3 in the press conference the other day, and that's something trap type of style on defense, but his offense can certainly transition in and create skilled plays. So it's no doubt that it's because of a lack of skill. It's just a way to slow down this line that has players like a 1A, 1B, and 1C of a player like Adam Fantilli. Maybe they're not totally the thoroughbred and physical specimen that he is, but boy, is Cooley, Nyes, and Snuggerud talented players. It's like if you split up Fantilli into 3 different players.
Well, absolutely. I mean, Quinnipiac definitely plays a defensive-minded game, and that's, there's a reason. That's why they're the 6th best goals against team in a single season in D1 history. But on the other hand, Minnesota this season leads Division I hockey in goals per game with 4.3. So, if you're Quinnipiac, you got to fight fire with fire sometimes.
Nyes had a really, really good look to take the puck in all alone on a blue line turnover and line change, but couldn't get the puck through. Lacombe takes a shot, it hits off Peret's pads, and the Bobcats come away with it. Legault shovels it into the neutral zone, the middle of the ice. A dump in from Fillion, number 13 for the Bobcats, and a pass sent, looking to get all 3 of the 3 of a line kind through, and it looks like a player for the Bobcats is tripped up by, who is that going to the box? Jimmy Snuggerud. Went to the wrong box. Jimmy Snuggerud, top line player in the box now, taking a neutral zone tripping penalty. And the Bobcats will have their first power play of the game. They have to capitalize on these opportunities.
Well, there you go. Skylar Brindamore takes a penalty, now draws one. So now he's amended that one. But, yeah, if you're the Bobcats, you have to take advantage of this. You're only down by 1 here. You managed to get a goal, even strength. You now lead the shot board, as we mentioned earlier. That still stands. It's 11-10 in favor of the Bobcats right now, but you're still down a goal on the big board. Their power play on the season, 37 for 160, a 23.1% success rate, but they were 0 for 3 2 nights ago against Michigan, so they're going to have to tighten up. Michigan did a really good job of clogging the lanes, blocking shots, blocking passes too, not really letting Quinnipiac get much high-danger opportunities on goal. And Minnesota is going to be more of the same. Minnesota's penalty kill is 88 for 106, an 83% success rate, and they were 2 for 3 against Boston 2 nights ago. So Quinnipiac, their power play is going to have their work cut out for them against a really tough penalty kill. But if you're the Bobcats, if you're their first unit that's sent out there to try to get a goal here with the man advantage, you can't blow this. This is a huge opportunity. Minnesota doesn't take that many penalties, just 3 against Boston. So you got to take advantage when these opportunities do come to you.
5-on-4 advantage here. Ice crew shoveling off the ice right now. A lot of snow. There's been a lot of stops and starts. Gritty, grinding style of hockey tonight. Close is going to have to be probably the best penalty killer. You figure Brock Faber will be on the ice as well as he skates off the bench right now. The captain's logging huge minutes. He's very similar to his Zach Metz. So these teams have a lot of rhyme in their lineups. Very similar playing style, very similar assets. The Bobcats will feature a power play with Ethan DeYoung, Sam Lipkin, Brindamore, Garaf, and Metza that they've rolled with. That's their first power play unit all year. The power play was historically a sore point and a heel for the Bobcats, and this season it's turned into one of their best assets. We'll see if they can convert here. Brindamore off the draw, wins it. Graf off to Metza. Metza controlling at the blue line, slows it down, walks the line like cash to Lipkin. Lipkin to Metza. 23 off to 28. Lipkin with some time and space. Looks to create. Metza off to Graf. Graf with the puck. Can't pull the trigger, and a pass flutters off of Metza's stick and goes out of the zone. Zach Metza, the captain in Navy, going up ice, quarterbacking. Dumps it off to DeYoung, who's streaking in with speed. Steady pace to Brindamore. Brindamore looks to go to the net, but curls around and decides it's best to set up. Graf keeping the puck away. Head up at the left circle, off to Metza. Metza to Graf. Graf a pass in front and a tip just goes over the net. Looking for Brindamore in front. And now the Gophers come away with it. Nelson through the legs of Metza and looks for the line change as the Bobcats will have to set up again. 1 minute on the clock as Metza carries out. Nye's on the ice, killing penalties as well. Hobie Baker finalist on the ice for the Gophers. Graf off the boards to Lipkin. Lipkin was not open for that pass, and Huglin combines with the defender to get the puck out of the zone. Metza still on the ice for the Bobcats. Must have oxygen tanks on the bench for number 23 for the Bobcats. Logs huge minutes, is one of the leaders in almost all stat categories for this team. Tellier on the ice now, the goal scorer, 29. Has some nifty hands on him. Gets the puck off to Lee. Lee passing catch. A shot. Goes by. In front, a rebound. Comes out. Lee cuts it to the slot. Looks for a pass. A shot. Gets it to the crease and flutters just by the blue paint. And the puck sent out, but it's kept at the point. A pass off to Lee. Lee takes another shot. A rebound comes out. Tellier with the puck. A backhand in front. Looks for another pass, but he possesses it behind the net. Getting hassled. Collects. Quillen with it. And Stuggerud's out of the box. Quillen looks for a pass in front, but he's tied up. Puck coming around the boards. Lee goes for the pinch and succeeds. Lee with the puck. Takes a shot, and Close makes a nice save with the pad to close things off on the side of the net. The Gophers have killed off the penalty, but the Bobcats surely had good chances on net.
Yeah, that might have been one of the best power plays you'll see without a goal tallying on it. The Bobcats were everywhere on the ice. They were, except for that first play where the puck hopped over Metz's stick and all the way down to Peretz on the other end of the ice. Aside from that one blunder, that pretty much entirety of the power play was all Bobcats. They did a tremendous job, and they came really close there. The puck looked like it hovered over the goal line. Unfortunately, it was above the crossbar, so it never went in the net. But the Bobcats had a great power play there, and now they didn't score, unfortunately for them, but you can build off that. That could be a huge momentum builder if you're Quinnipiac.
Now Faber with it, out to Cooley, fakes a one-timer and opens up a lot of space for Johnson to work with. A shot, and Burgard comes up with a huge block. Burgard waving to get a change, but Johnson still possessing. Off to Faber, his partner. Faber, Cipollone on him as the forward one, causing havoc. but the Gophers don't surrender to it. Cooley driving up ice. Pittsburgh, PA native, 3rd overall pick for the Arizona Coyotes in last year's draft, number 92. Really knows how to control play. He is super dynamic. A pass out from the defensive end. Burgard takes a shot over the glove and wide. Close has certainly been challenged in the last few minutes between the power play. Tellier with the goal and that opportunity that was almost batted in by Jacob Quillen earlier on the power play. Another opportunity there for Burgard. Quillen gets possession, gets a pass off. Graff moving on in on his backhand. Ran out of space. Graff to the front of the net. A shot, a rebound comes out and Close gloves it down. And the Bobcats have challenged him and taken over in the shots category.
Yeah, well, another great scoring opportunity there. Again, no goal came away from it, but the Bobcats are buzzing right now, and it's because they've gotten back to what we talked about, the Bobcats style of hockey. They're trying to get that scoring opportunity just a few minutes ago on the power play. Would have been, had it gone in, a gritty goal. One of those goals where there were a few Bobcats in the crease, crashed in the net, just trying to poke that puck across. And that opportunity right there just seconds ago, same thing. Fling the puck on net, see where the rebound goes, see what comes from it, and see if you get a lucky bounce. So I like what I'm seeing from the Bobcats as of late, the last few minutes, most of this period really, but especially the last few minutes. They have played their style of hockey, and that's why they've gotten on the board, and they're only down by 1 here.
That chance before was real close coming up with the save. He batted it with his glove, so that was a really interesting replay that I was just watching as Eric was taking us through kind of how the Bobcats have shifted momentum and had some good looks and opportunities. Now, that save could have kept them in this game. Close has had some really good saves here on opportunities that aren't clean. A lot of redirections, a lot of pucks fumbling in the crease, but he's gotten the job done. You got to think, though, the Bobcats, it's a game of inches. If they keep getting chances like that, they can really tie this game up with 4:28 remaining in the second period.
Exactly, and you don't want to keep shooting, as you mentioned. You want to make the puck go all different ways where the goalie can't really predict where it's going to end up. If you shoot a wrister from the blue line with nobody in front, odds are, more often than not, 9 times out of 10, the goalie's going to see that all the way, glove it, blocker it, whatever you want to, however it's going to go. But if you can get pucks in net where there's bodies everywhere, kind of into the mixer there, it'll pinball around, and sometimes the goalie just loses track of it, the defenseman loses track of it, but the guys on offense don't. They see it the whole way, and sometimes it's just right place, right time, and they're there to jam that puck home. Similar to 2012, Adam Henrique, that puck just slipped right out to him, past Henrik Lundqvist, and he was there to slide that across the line, send the Devils to the finals.
Just get to the inside of the ice, get chances in front, create havoc. Now the Bobcats surely want, as you mentioned, to cause havoc, because if a goaltender can't see the puck, can't make the save. Now Cooley with it, flips it. He has some set of hands and some speed. Puck comes out of the zone, a shot, goes by Peretz but goes wide, and Johnson steps up to keep it in the zone. Mason Nevers taking that shot. Number 18 for the Gophers. Puck comes out of the zone and Faber collects. The captain in his home state. Metza coming up ice, takes a shot, and it's blocked off by Faber and out of play. Captain on captain. Both captains have an assist in this game, a primary assist to drive play. And the Bobcats are down 1 goal with 3:52 remaining in the second period. They've certainly found a way to inch towards the net and get more shots and opportunities on close as they've turned around shot opportunities and shots on goal clock that looked really poor after the first. I believe there were only 3 shots on goal after the first period, and now they're at 15 total. Brindamore, DeYoung, and Burgart lining up with Rossinen and Nordquist all the way at the blue line at the point. Last defenseman on the ice, aside from Yanni Peretz in net. Skylar Brindamore wins the face-off. Burgart gets it around, sends a pass off to the point, and it comes around the boards. Lacombe circles the puck around the boards, and a pass from DeYoung comes in front. Brindamore takes a shot for a one-time wrister, and it goes over the net. Brindamore at his feet. A dump off from Cooley, and here comes Nyes. My apologies, that's Snuggerud. Rossinen with the puck, shakes off Nyes, gets the puck off to DeYoung, one hand on his stick, but he's able to get it to Burgard. Burgard charging on in, gets a one-handed pass opportunity through. DeYoung takes a shot, and it's blocked in front by Lacombe on a great play. Had Brindamore if he wanted him backdoor, and Legault is tied up with Matt Nyes. Nyes Working in the corner with Logan Cooley. Puck comes out to Nyes. Gains possession. A one-timer and a save by Peretz. A nice glove by Peretz again to make another save, his 10th of the night.
Well, it's interesting. That was the first time Peretz has been challenged, at least seriously, with a dangerous chance in quite some time. And I think that really just shows that Quinnipiac has taken over this period. And although they still find themselves down by 1, if they can keep up this pace of play and their puck possession, they're giving themselves plenty of opportunities to even this game up.
And now the faceoff's won by the Gophers. It comes around the boards. Another turnover in front and a block shot. Peretz has it. Oh, the Gophers really turning it up here quickly as Huglin had a great shot on net. Huglin hustling behind the net. In front. The shot saved by Peretz. Another faceoff. My apologies, that was Kurth in front. Kurth with a perfect opportunity for a one-timer and another one-timer off the draw. But the Bobcats are able to escape that one. Middlestat with the puck sends into the offensive end. Puck comes around the boards. Friedman on his forehand. Pitlick taking it away from him, and Lee has the puck. Jaden Lee to Lombardi. Number 4 sends it into the offensive end, and they'll get a change. A full line change for the Bobcats as the Gophers possess. Middlestat up the ice. Now that's not John Middlestat, that's Luke Middlestat, both brothers on the same team. Luke had 2 goals against Boston University as a first year and the 6th defensive skater. And his brother scored tonight in this national championship game, 2 minutes remaining in the second period. And the Bobcats and Gophers go back and forth in the neutral zone. Tellier with the puck, gets it off to Lipkin. Lipkin moving on in. Tries to get a shot off through defenders, and a shot flutters off a stick and close gloves it at the top of the crease.
Yep, and I like that. That Quinnipiac skater there was being pressured heavily. I believe that was Lipkin. So the best thing to do there, he didn't really see a clean pass anywhere, so just try to get it on net. And of course, 1 in a million shot, it gets blocked, and puck shoots to the neutral zone, and all of a sudden it's a breakaway for Minnesota. But 9 times out of 10, you flutter one towards goal, even if it's a save. Now they get an offensive zone faceoff.
The Bobcats in the offensive end. Graf and Lipkin going to work. Graf tries to send a pass off in front to Quillen, but it's broken up by Johnson. Johnson's pass cut off by Graf, but can't get it out of the zone. Quillen gives the puck up at the blue line, and now it's a 2-on-1. A pass across, and Middlestat can't collect it. Up the wall. A pass off to the far point to Kester. Mike Kester tries to send the puck into the offensive zone. Doesn't succeed. And a line change for the Gophers results in the Bobcats possessing with 1 minute and 10 seconds on the clock. Zach Metza, 49th captain in team history from Delafield, Wisconsin, possessing the puck last season, a first-team All-American this season, a second-team All-American. A Gophers chant breaks out as Metza looks for lanes to break out of the defensive end with. Shoots a puck off of Brind'Amour's stick, and it goes just wide of Close. Close has to stop the puck to the right of him as DeYoung drove to the net hard. 52.1 remaining on the clock in this second period. Close, another play to stop the puck, settle things down, and there will be another face-off. Same unit for the Bobcats remaining on the ice.
Yeah, and I like that from Quinnipiac because Close was thinking about passing that off for his teammate and sending it back the other way, but DeYoung made it impossible for him to do that. He forced him to cover, and now again another O-zone face-off for the Bobcats late in this period. Those are the small things that Quinnipiac has to do.
Another draw coming up. An officiating crew, or an NCDC officiating crew. So there is no conference officials on any of these Frozen Four games here at Amalie Arena, Tampa. Amalie Arena, mentioned Devon Taves. He was a Colorado Avalanche when he won the Cup, not even a year ago, not even 365 days ago. A former Quinnipiac Bobcat won the Stanley Cup on this ice. He paid for the first meal when they came down here, has consistently contributed to talking to the players about the mental game, what it takes to prep, and how he wanted to pass along that it's still a regret of his, even though he's lost the Stanley Cup, that they couldn't finish the job in 2016. The Bobcats facing an uphill battle here, down a goal, 49 seconds remain. Burgart loses the puck to Faber in the slot, and Brind'Amour gets to the puck first, but he's getting checked hard by Brind'Amour. Brind'Amour tied up with Snuggerud and Faber, along with Desi Burgart. DeYoung in, shakes off Logan Cooley with a nice check. DeYoung still battling. Burgart getting in there now. 28 seconds remaining. Gophers just trying to tie things up. Cooley checked hard. In the opposite corner, puck comes out to the point, and now the Bobcats possess. Roston, a shot, a tip just goes wide. Now Nyes coming away with it. Snug route to Cooley. Cooley to Nyes. Nyes moving on in. 10 seconds remaining in the period. Tries to cut to the net on a skill play. 6 seconds remaining. DeYoung off to Lombardi, but it goes over his stick. 2 seconds and 1. A third period of action where the Bobcats' season and championship hopes are on the line, down a goal. The Golden Gophers 1 period away of 20 minutes from becoming national championship. A 1-goal game here heading into the third period. Eric, what happened? How would you summarize that second period?
That second period, I'd say most of it, I'd say maybe it was 80-20 Quinnipiac. They had the advantage most of the time. They had a power play, couldn't score on it, unfortunately, but they had tremendous opportunities on it, and even strength. They had the majority of puck control. All the possession was theirs. They had their goal, and now they also lead the shot board 15-13, which is a good sign because, as you mentioned earlier, they only had 3 after the first period. They trailed 7 shots to 3 after the first period. Now after the second, they lead 15-13, but still trail by a goal. But the fact that they've now eclipsed Minnesota's shot total is a really, really good sign for the offensive side of the game because the defensive side of the game is still there. They have the, bad turnover here and there, but luckily for them, they have Yaniv Peretz in goal who can bail them out more often than not. So they're still staying strong on their defensive side of the puck, but they've realized that, Minnesota, a really, really offensively charged team, as was Michigan, you got to start fighting fire with fire. From the opening faceoff for that second period, they were full throttle on the gas the whole way. So they have to keep that up in the third to make this thing interesting. They're only down by a goal, so that's a good sign for the Bobcats.
To become the national champion and the best team in college hockey for the year of 2023, you have to win the next period. The Bobcats down 1, the Gophers up 1. National championship on the line down here in Jungle Land, Tampa Bay, Florida, where the Frozen Four has been hosted in Amalie Arena. We'll be back in 14 minutes for the third period that the national champion hangs in the balance of. This is it. Herb Brooks once said, great moments are born from great opportunities. The former Minnesota Gophers coach won 3 national championships, the last one in '79, then coached the 1980 Olympic team that won the Miracle on Ice in 1980, and then the gold medal against Finland. Down in that game, as the Bobcats are down in this game, it all hangs within the balance. We are coming at you, QBSN Radio, Frozen Four, Tampa Bay. The national championship hangs within 20 minutes of hockey to be crowned the Division I men's ice hockey champions. One team will come out on top. 1 goal is the difference right now. Eric, Quinnipiac Bobcats, Minnesota Golden Gophers here, Tampa, Florida, Amalie Arena. Puck about to drop. What needs to happen for the Bobcats to come back in this game, and what do the Gophers have to do to be crowned national champions?
Well, for the Bobcats, more of the same. The second period for them was a complete 180 from the first. Look at the shot totals alone. In the first period, Quinnipiac was outshot 7-4. In the second period, they completely turned the tide and led the shot totals 11-6. So the second period for them was a totally different team, but it was the team that we've seen all year long. So when I would say it was different than the first period. So they need to stick with that. They can't get complacent here. They can't say, all right, we had a great second period and, check out for the third. They're still down a goal here. They still got work to do. They still need to get at least 2 to win this game. And that's not going to be easy against this Minnesota team who is, as well as the Bobcats, very sound defensively. Maybe not as much as Quinnipiac, but still enough to make it really difficult for the Bobcats to get anything really generated in their offensive zone. But one thing I thought was interesting, in the first period, Quinnipiac led the face-off totals 11-8, but didn't control most of the puck possession, which kind of means that Minnesota created a lot of turnovers, even though they were losing the draws. Second period here, as the puck has just been dropped, Minnesota trailed in the face-off dot. Minnesota led 10-6, but Quinnipiac controlled most of the puck possession time. So Quinnipiac they were really hounding pucks well in that middle period there, getting them even when they didn't have it. They created tons of turnovers and forced Minnesota to turn the puck over a lot. So if Quinnipiac can keep up that style of play here in the third, hold on to your hat. This is going to be a close game.
And the York Hill boys line are on the ice as puck drop is here and the third period's underway. Quillen sends it into the offensive end, but it's broken up, and Lacombe comes away with it on a regroup. Tape-to-tape pass to Brodzinski. Tries to find a streaking player. Lipkin, a nice touch pass to Graf. Graf moving in. Graf, 56 points. An all-time points season record for Graf this season. He can tie it if he records 2 points this game, but thus far he's been quite quiet through the NCAA games that they've played. Had 2 assists last game against Michigan, but has not recorded a goal in a few games. Now Johnson off to Brindamore. Brindamore checks the puck off his backhand into the zone, and DeYoung is after Faber. Brindamore after Johnson, and Metza closes things off to Lombardi. Lombardi takes a shot, a rebound comes out, and Close gets his glove out. Outside of the crease, gets his glove on the puck, and a stoppage of play. A minute through this period, the York Hill boys line start. DeYoung, Brindamore, and Burgard on after that, and the Bobcats have things in the zone they want at the offensive end. But one of the best Bobcats, my apologies, one of the best Gophers line in history, the three-of-a-kind line, Cooley, Nyes, and Snuggerud on the ice currently. They could challenge the Ruse line of Neil Broughton, Brian Butsy Erickson, and Aaron Broughton for the best in program history if they can close out this game and win a national championship. Metza closes things off again. Friedman swinging the puck to Lombardi, who takes over for Metza at the point, but it gets by him. Lombardi, number 4, hounded and checked hard by Cooley. Bobcats come out of the zone on a high breakout. DeYoung off to Lombardi, who tries to shake around a defender with a windmill move but can't. Tellier up the wall to the point. Lee with a lot of open space takes a shot, and Close closes things off.
Well, the Bobcats have really started this period the way that they finished the second. That shot, although it was a wrister from the blue line, there were 1 or 2 Bobcats there hanging out in the crease. If you see the replay, there's one. There was Friedman hanging out in the crease, battling with a Gopher defenseman. And you never know, when you take a shot directed on goal, when there's 2 skaters there, 1 Gopher, 1 Bobcat, in the blue paint, the puck can, it's not that unfathomable to think that it can take a wacky bounce off a defenseman and go into the back of the net. So.
Lee takes a shot and a rebound comes out. Cipollone can't whack it away as it was in the air fluttering, but Cipollone couldn't get a stick on it to just bat it and get it inches over the goal line. Fillion, a nice move on Johnson to get the puck to the point. Lee takes a shot wide for a player to collect in Joey Cipollone. The senior, number 17, sandpaper and grit. 5 of his 7 goals this season, game winners. He's on the top of the NCAA list for game-winning goals, but Matthew Nyes is first with 7, 3 of those game-winning goals, overtime goals. Now, Jaden Lee with the puck, 15, heads up, gets a puck off of Chinesky in air. They go for a change, and the York Hill boys line is on the ice. Lipkin gets a piece of a puck off a Lamb's stick, and Quillen possesses. Tries to get a pass off, and the puck bounces off a defender's stick, and in transition, the Gophers go the other way. A nice sidestep move and a check coming from Nordquist. Separates man from puck. Nordquist off to Lipkin. Lipkin, number 28, off to Quillen. Quillen tries to dump it off to Graf, but he's caught flat-footed. The puck comes out of the zone. Nordquist gets possession, settles, and gets a pass off to Johnson. My apologies, Ivari Rossinen. A passing catch there from Chesley and Cal Thomas. And Logan Cooley streaking through the offensive end, and a penalty called. The Gophers will go on the power play as soon as the Bobcats touch up, and they do. Looks like a slash of some sort or a hook as Cooley was streaking through. He diced up about 3 Quinnipiac defenders coming into the zone.
Yeah, and I get the desperation there from the Quinnipiac defenseman, just trying to prevent the Golden Gopher, getting any kind of clean breakaway there, but I don't think he would have been. I think he was starting to run out of space there as we were looking at the replay. I don't think it would have been a clean break anyway, so that wasn't necessarily a great penalty to take by any sense. And now the Bobcats are sent back to the penalty kill here, already down a goal.
Skylar Brindamore, the second trip he's made to the box for number 22, and the Bobcats will have to kill off a power play. It seemed like the Gophers really gained possession and control of the pace, the time and the space on the ice for the rest of the first period when they had a power play. They're really good on the power play. Bob Motzko has always emphasized that. At St. Cloud, he had a dynamic power play. He emphasized capitalizing on it. He did so with the World Juniors in 2017 with that squad that featured Troy Terry, Charlie McAvoy. Name a player, they were most likely on that team that's breaking out in the NHL currently. and Cooley possesses, plays pass and catch with Lacombe. Lacombe, a bomb from the point, and a rebound comes out off a knee's pad, and Peretz gloves it up and makes the save.
Well, that's one of the things that's made Peretz so invaluable to this Bobcats team is his rebound control. You know, he kind of let it squeak out a little bit, but before the Golden Gopher there could even turn around and put a rebound shot back on. So that's just one of the many things that makes Yaniv Peretz so good is his rebound control, and we see that again there.
That was something we saw as a weakness in Thursday's match for the Bobcats in the Frozen Four against Eric Portillo, the Michigan goaltender. Now Lacombe off a one-time draw. Burgart with a big block shot, sends the puck out of the zone, and they'll go for a penalty kill change. Burgart putting all of his weight on one skate right now. He looks okay, but really took a hard shot from Lacombe on a 1-2. You saw the stick really flex at the mid-kick. And the Minnesota Gophers going again. Cooley with the puck. It's broken up and taken out of the zone by Jaden Lee. Jaden Lee moving in. He's forechecker number 1 right now on this penalty kill, a defenseman. Friedman hustling a player on the sidewall, but the puck comes out to Jimmy Snuggerud. Snuggerud, a beautiful backhand feed to try and hit Pitlick. Puck comes out to the point. No one challenging yet. Bobcats come into formation. Looks like there's 1 forward at the point and 3 down low. Johnson goes down to block a pass. DeYoung and Johnson going to work below the dots. Pass comes out to the point. Walking the line. Gophers possess. And the Gophers taken down, and no official's arms up as it looked like it could have been a really clear trip for DeYoung. And a pass comes all the way out and misses Middlestat. Middlestat disrupted by Johnson. 6 seconds on the kill for the Bobcats. A pass and a beautiful set play, but Peretz makes a poke check play, looking for Pitlick back door for a pass. Puck comes out, and they try and hit a streaking DeYoung who's tied up. And there's no call there as it looked like DeYoung was clearly interfered with on a hooking play. The Gophers fans also upset by something, not sure what they were looking for. Arm up, and it looks like it'll be an icing for the Bobcats. Coming off of that penalty kill, this could swing things in their favor.
It could, and you know, with the penalties, I think the refs may have kind of let some things go there. There was a penalty that could, while the Golden Gophers were on the power play, they could have had a 5-on-3 there had the referees called that one tripping play. They let it go, and I think that call that could have gone in Quinnipiac's favor, that was kind of more of the same, even in things out. You know, there's one thing letting the boys play. You know, you got to be consistent too if you're the referee. So I think that was really all that was. But yeah, Quinnipiac did a great job killing off that penalty.
Metza shot and it comes out. There's traffic in front. Chinesky doing battle along the half wall. Graf out to the point. Rawson in a shot. Sticks wide, goes over the net, off the wall, and in front of the net. But none of the Bobcats of the York Hill boys line could possess. Graf, Lipkin, and Quillen on the ice for the Bobcats. Metza sends Graf, who tips the puck off for Lipkin, but he wasn't on his horse and couldn't get there in time. Lipkin doing battle. He's tied up by 2 defenders. Johnson has the puck. He's the son of the Johnson on Herb Brooks' 1980 Miracle roster. He has his jersey hanging up in Lake Placid's rafters in Herb Brooks Arena up there. Quaint town upstate. Say upstate, we're in Florida, Tampa, Florida right now, really upstate. It's probably still snowing there as it's 90 degrees here. You think these teams really have been disciplined, though. It doesn't seem like any of them had too much pool time in the last few days. Rand had preached that. Moscow had preached that. They're on the ice. They're here to compete and win a national championship. And you could see they haven't come into any of these games lackadaisical. Tellier, a pass all the way through. Could have hit Friedman, could have hit Nordquist, and they both missed. Bobcats have had a difficult time with passing and possessing tonight. Another pass from Tellier finding Nordquist cutting in. Hits off his skate. Number 29 for the Bobcats. Off the wall to Friedman. Friedman starting to play. Takes a shot and is blocked by Faber. That's where Brock Faber is so valuable to his team as the captain. Tellier, a pass off in front. Fillion tries to feed him on his backhand, using his body and frame to block things out. Fillion finds Nordquist. Tries to pass it in front. Probably had a good shooting lane. A rebound comes out. Another rebound. They're whacking away at it. Can't possess it. Fillion possesses, but over the blue line as he can't keep it. Bobcats with another surefire opportunity. 12:55 remains in the third. Last period of action to crown a national championship here in Tampa, Florida, in Amalie Arena. Nye's coming away with it, using his frame, but Metza ties him up and dumps him. Skylar Brindamore on Snuggerud. To the point of shot, and it's blocked between Brindamore and DeYoung. The back-to-back ECAC Defensive Forwards of the Year. Lombardi with the puck, takes a flutter shot, looking for a little bit of a pass or a tip play for DeYoung. Misses. Lombardi with the puck. Up the wall, but Mesa can't possess. At the blue line, Lee with it. Lee moving into the offensive end. A pass through, tries to hit Lombardi and misses. Pass off the wall, DeYoung fumbles with it. And now Hughlin coming away. Number 7 in the sevens line out for the Gophers. Perret swings it around the boards like bubble hockey. DeYoung with it. Tries to tee it off of his forehand to get it over his blue line and go on the offensive, but it comes back around to Perret. Perret's looking to play it. Lee sends it up the wall to Michael Lombardi. Lombardi, Rhode Island native, sends it into the offensive zone, comes around the boards. And Graff is there first. Graff getting to work. Sam Lipkin, first year from Lafayette Hill, Pennsylvania, going to work. ECAC Rookie of the Year. Number 28 gets it off to Quillen. Quillen looking for Graff in front. Graff in front still. Lipkin now driving as well. Rossin at the point, almost gets the puck knocked off his stick by Kurth. And Chesley gets the puck out of the zone, and a great breakup by the Gophers on a chance that the Bobcats just didn't pull the trigger on any of their opportunities. Rossinen cutting to the net, goes hard, Lipkin in front, and the Gophers are really clogging the lane. They're jamming away. Quillen tries to get it out of the zone, can't get it past Pitlick, and he does. Like, oh, a shot from the point goes over the net. Graff with it, tries to feed a point man. Rossinen, a shot goes wide. A tip around the boards, and they couldn't get a stick on it. That was Jacob Quillen, number 16. Who's tied for the all-time record in Bobcats points in the NCAA tournament. My apologies, goals. He has been electric goal scoring against Merrimack. Last game against Michigan was definitely the best offensive player in the first period, and most likely the whole game. We got another whistle and a TV timeout. We're halfway through the third period. Halfway in the third period to a national champion being crowned. It's 2-1. The Bobcats, though, are leading 20 shots to 14. You can see, though, how the Gophers are clogging up the slot.
They are. They're playing defense first this period, and it's working so far. And, you know, Quinnipiac is going to want that sequence back because they knew the Gophers on that last play that lasted quite some time. They had the Gophers hemmed in their own zone. They were pinned in, and they were gassed. And Quinnipiac knew it. There was only one instance where the puck was able to cross the blue line, and Minnesota was only able to exchange one player. The 4 others were still fatigued. They were still out there. And that was a prime opportunity for the Bobcats to get a goal and even things up against a really, really tired defensive unit for Minnesota. Unable to do so, Minnesota, the good team that they are, finally finds a way to get the puck away, get it to center, and the puck ended up going into the netting. So no icing, no nothing. Both teams change, and that's that. But
something else that's notable, too, that to mention is Bob Mosco won the NCAA Coach of the Year this year. So this isn't his first rodeo. He's preaching a hockey style. We're up. We have 2 goals. We're leading by 1. That's all we need.
Yeah, he knows what it's all about. He knows what he's doing. But so does Rand Pecknold. He won the Tim Taylor ECAC Coach of the Year this year for his own conference. So he is no stranger to the game of hockey or even to these games. You know, he was here in 2016. He was here in 2013. Came up short both times. And Minnesota as a team, last time Quinnipiac and Minnesota played each other 23 years ago, December 9th, 2000. The good news for the Bobcats when that game ended 11-2 in favor of Minnesota. It's 2-1 right now. So barring a brutal final 10-54 for the Bobcats, even if they lose, it won't be to that extent. But going back to Rand Pecknold, he knows what he's doing, and he knows how to coach against the best of the best, and this Minnesota team is no different.
That was still when the Quinnipiac Bobcats were in the MAC conference before they became the Hockey East, and since then the Bobcats have been enjoying the ECAC. They've won 3 Cleary Cups in a row in the regular season, none of their own conference. Now Joey Cipollone takes a shot, in on net, a bobbling puck gets through, and it doesn't bounce in the net. Now the sandpaper line for the Bobcats is up against the three of a kind line for the Gophers. Cooley sends one out, and Matthew Neese is checked at the point, but he still comes away with the puck. Friedman, another big body, 6-foot body, trying to cut away on Neese. Neese gets to the puck almost first as Perret says to quickly play it. Metza bounding off Snuggerud and Nyes. Cooley tied up in the slot by 3 defenders, and the puck gets off his stick. And a hard check behind the play on Friedman. Burgard with the puck, offsides, and the faceoff will be out of the zone.
And Burgart thought he was going to have an opportunity there. That whistle was a few strides late on the offside call, and Burgart was clearly frustrated. His body language still, he's skating around with a stick in the air because he knew if that was onside, he would have had a pretty solid opportunity there. He was working 1-on-2 with 2 Gopher defensemen, but he looked like he had something cooking on his stick there. Unfortunately for him, the whistle blew the play dead.
Now a face-off win. Jackson Lacombe sends the puck into the offensive end. Burgart collects to go 200 feet the other way, but the puck's knocked off of De Jong's stick off of Pitlick. De Jong, a bobble play, tries to find Brindamore, who collects the puck and can't get beyond Jackson Lacombe. Looked like if Brindamore was able to get a piece of that, he would have broke to the net. Nordquist with the puck, dishes it off to Rossinen, and he'll go for a change. Ivari Rossinen, the Finnish native, driving, sends the puck down low for the Sherbrooke boys to get to work. Tellier with the puck, number 29, sends a pass off to Fillion. Fillion sending it in for Charles Alexi Legault, who drops down. The defenseman working around the net, sends a pass off to nobody at the point. Jaden Lee rushing to get it back into the offensive end. Just the pass off to Tellier. Tellier takes a shot and it's to the crest of Close. And Close with another save.
Well, that was a great sequence there from Quinnipiac. The setup was nice. They executed everything perfectly except for getting the puck across the line. Unfortunately for them, unable to beat Close once again on their 21st shot of the night. So 20 saves for Close thus far.
Something to mention about Justin Close, and a nod to their coaching staff. In 1920, he played 3 games. In 2021, he played 1. He had a 6.09 goals against and 6 against, a 786 and a 714 save percentage in those games that he came in as a backup for. Then in 21-22, a 1.95, a 925 save percentage. No shutouts, but a 14-5-0 record. This season, improved again, a 199 goals against, 928 save percentage, and 6 shutouts. He's performed well for this Gophers team and has kept them in games where a lot of the time the 3 of a line kind in Cooley, Snugrud, and Nice is highlighted, as well as the defense like Faber's lockdown defensive style and Motzko's structure and philosophy. But Close has shut things down here tonight.
He absolutely has. And, you know, when you're a hockey team, you're only as good as your goaltender. You're only going to go as far as your goalie takes you. And he has taken them to the Frozen Four here, to the championship game. And I know he's got a lot of firepower to work with on that top line, the second line, all the forward lines, really. So he's got a lot of help between the pipes. But he's had a tremendous year, as you mentioned, improving every year. 26 wins in 36 games this season, only 9 losses, 1 tie, 70 goals against in 36 games, 903 saves, and he was a semifinalist for the Mike Richter Award and also a finalist for the Big Ten Goalie of the Year. So he's had a great year, definitely the backbone defensively for this Minnesota Golden Gopher squad.
Now, it may not be as obvious in this game, but the Gophers have had to adjust to playing on NHL ice and NHL regulated ice surface, because normally the Gophers play on an Olympic-sized ice rink as their home rink. So they've certainly had to make the adjustments, and you can see when they try and stretch pucks how that affects it. Quillen with the puck below the dots at the NCAA logo. Graf out in front, and Lipkin just missed a shot attempt to tie the game. And now another icing. New York Hill boys line on the ice for the Bobcats with Lee and Metza at the point. 2 fine offensive defensemen for the Bobcats. Metza recording a goal, the dagger, for his team last night. 49th captain in team history, has been here for 5 years. Has had the experience, came in just after the Bobcats went to the last national championship that they played in, and is now the captain of the team from Delafield, Wisconsin. My apologies, Illinois. Metzer with the puck, shakes and bakes, takes a shot, it comes in the crease, a rebound out in front, they clog up again, the Bobcats not getting to the inside. Metzer, a shot on goal, a tip goes wide off a Graf stick. And Lee keeps, takes a shot on net, and Close makes a save, looked like he didn't know where it was, bobbling, and he stops play. The Bobcats putting the pressure on with 8:37 remaining in the period.
Yeah, this is the time. You know, they got to get one soon here. to at least force an overtime. 8.5 to go, as you mentioned. Shots 23-14 in favor of Quinnipiac. They're getting the offensive opportunities. Offensively, this period has been all Quinnipiac, but I think that's just because Minnesota's been playing such a defensive-minded third period here. They know they're up. They know they don't technically have to get another goal before the final horn. They just have to prevent Quinnipiac from getting any of their own.
Kessler off to Nice to Cooley. Cooley to Snuggerud, misses the top of the net on an open 2-on-1. And a babbling puck finds the stick of Fillion, and he sends it into the offensive end. Now Friedman in. Friedman gets to the puck first. Puck comes around the boards. Nordquist off the wall. Finds Fillion off Friedman's stick and back on close. That was a really quick play to get out of the zone. The Gophers made about 4 passes in 2 seconds. That sent Cooley in. Looking for that play. Got the pass across. Snuggerud had to lean to get position and shot it off of his back foot, leaning away from the net, and still almost capitalized on Peretz, who was flat on the ice. Dirty birdie.
Yeah, he had Peretz down. That was one of those golden opportunities that Minnesota doesn't necessarily miss on very much. So Quinnipiac, again, they've gotten some lucky breaks. They're down a goal, but they've gotten some lucky breaks. This game could very easily be more than just a 1-goal deficit for the Bobcats.
Peretz had to come up big, and so far he has. Jaden Lee with the puck. Jaden Lee, a pass off to Metza. Metza creeping on in, takes a shot wide, and it looks like it got through the crease, but not all the way to the net. Jaden Lee now jumping because the Gophers had a hard forecheck to get to the puck first, and that was their 4th line on the ice. The 7's line now on with Kurth. Brindamore off to DeYoung. DeYoung at the blue line. It looks like it might be another offsides on Mike Lombardi. That's his 3rd infraction this game so far. Legault finding the puck around an official. Sends Lombardi. Lombardi at the blue line. Sends the puck into the offensive end and looks for a change. Skylar Brindamore hustling, but Chesley comes away with the puck, and they're going the other way. The Gophers turn the puck over, and it goes all the way back into their end. Close, collecting the puck at the end of the rink. Quillen off to Lipkin. Lipkin in, a toe drag, and he can't pull the trigger on the backhand. Out to the point, let go. A shot and a rebound comes out, and there's no Bobcat backdoor. Bobcats have had their chances and just have not finished or capitalized on them. Quillen and Johnson battling at the point. Johnson swings it low. Legault looking for a change. Faber head up, sends it around the boards. And Chesley sends it all the way down ice. And that'll be an icing for the Gophers again. They're just really partaking in a war of attrition. It's something and a style that they want to continue here in the last 6 minutes.
Yeah, and if, from the Bobcats' perspective, it's a good thing that you keep forcing Minnesota to ice the puck every time. And, you'll keep the more fatigued players out there, and you'll get your offensive zone draws. But I think the fact that Quinnipiac now leads the shot totals 24-14. They're ahead by 10, yet they're down a goal. They've got 1 goal on 24 shots compared to Minnesota's 2 on 14. So I think that just shows that Minnesota has they've taken the opportunities that they've gotten and they capitalize on them. And even some golden opportunities they've gotten they haven't capitalized on. Quinnipiac has gotten a ton of grade A chances, and unfortunately for them and for Rand Pecknell, they've only capitalized on one of those opportunities. And, if you're the Bobcats, you're ahead in the shot board by 10 shots. You'd think if you just looked at that they'd be leading on the big board as well, and that's just not the case, and that's because Minnesota's doing a great job taking the opportunities they're given and pouncing on them.
Shift by shift, minute by minute, really second by second, inch by inch of this game, the Bobcats are trying to claw their way back. They'll have an offensive zone draw as the Gophers took a timeout. A smart move to rest his players and get ready for some defensive hockey, as Motzko knows the Bobcats are coming with as much offense as they can within this last 6 minutes. And I'm sure what they're going to try and do is get a jump and a stretch play to send things to ice the game if they can for the Gophers. Brett's still in net, 6:43 remaining. The scene here in Tampa, 2-1 Gophers. Bobcats need one to tie it up, and they've been pouring the pressure on, but just are one play, one step away the last few opportunities they've had. Brindamore, DeYoung, and Tellier lined up. They win the draw. Metza off to Johnson, a spinorama move. Tries to shake a defender, but can't. Still cuts in net. DeYoung, a one-timer. Gets in front, but it hits off his own player. Skylar Brindamore to the net, but Tellier's knocked down. DeYoung a check, but the puck comes out of the zone. looking for a jump. Johnson cuts off a pass and gets possession of the puck. Sends it back into the offensive end. Brindamore with the puck. Gets a touch and it goes around a defender. Tellier battling alongside him. Johnson again to the puck first. Johnson off to DeYoung at the point. Whiffs on a pass and it comes out to Metza. Metza off to Johnson. Johnson, a shot. A tip just goes wide of the net and over the crossbar. A pass through to Brodzinski and another cutoff pass by Metza as they try and jump the play. Johnson's taken down and there's no call. A spring pass for Lipkin. Lipkin tries to get by, but he's closed off by Faber. Faber to his partner. Johnson sends it out of the zone, and Rossinen's on his horse to get there before Cooley, and we'll have another offensive zone draw. 5:38. They just killed off a minute on the clock. The Bobcats generated one really good chance, though, that just went over the net.
The chances keep coming for the Bobcats, but the time keeps slipping away. Like you said, 5.5 to go here in potentially their season if they can't get another one past the goaltender close. You know, he's had a great night in goal. He's stopped 23 of 24. And, you know, he's really been just a solid night there for the Minnesota netminder.
Now the puck's tied up in the corner, and this is the exact type of hockey that the Gophers want to play. 2 defenders on, 2 forwards for the Bobcats doing battle, and Snuggerud comes away with it. Matthew Nyes with the puck. Makes a move and a shot. Peretz makes the save with his stick moving. Rossinen going to battle with Quillen in the corner. Get the puck from Nyes. Nyes knocks it away. Nyes to Cooley in front. Tries a move, but he's stuffed. Sam Lipkin with the puck. Tries to shake Cooley, and they go to battle, and Cooley pushes Lipkin. And Peretz comes out of the net. Graf with the puck. Tries to get a pass off. And the Bobcats will go to the power play with 4:52 remaining. The Gophers fans arguing, but guess what? Logan Cooley's headed to the box on a stupid penalty.
Yeah, that was ill-advised there by Logan Cooley. Not what you really want to see from your first-line center there. NHL prospect, you know, you'd like him to have a little more sense than that. In a time like this where there's now under 5 minutes to go and I'm trying to talk over all these boos, the Minnesota fans do not like this call at all. But it was a penalty. The refs are right. They can't let that one go. He tied up Lipkin real bad on that one. That's a blatant call. So they don't like it, but it is what it is. And the Bobcats are getting a power play here for the next 2 minutes. They have to score on it. This is their opportunity. They can't. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There is 4:52 to go in what could be their season if they don't tally a goal here in the next 2 minutes on the man advantage. This is probably the biggest power play of their season, no doubt about it. And
this might be the biggest power play of the last 7 years for the Bobcats.
You could definitely make that argument, and I think you probably win it too. This is what it all comes down to. Like we just said, 4:52 to go. They're down a goal, and this is it. They're going to be up 5-on-4 for the next 2 minutes here as the ice crew cleans the ice, shaves the snow off. The fans have reined back their boos a little bit and turned it into a Minnesota chant, so their moods changed real fast, but this is the biggest opportunity of, as you mentioned, probably the past 7 years for Quinnipiac, and this is what it all comes down to.
Logan Cooley and Sam Lipkin were World Junior Championship teammates. They won a bronze together under Rand Pecknold in January. Logan Cooley scoring in the game against Canada. Sam Lipkin on the roster. As both of them are first years for their respective colleges, those two teammates only practiced 6 times together before playing in the World Junior Championship, and now Cooley takes an ill-advised penalty against Lipkin, setting up a power play opportunity and the Bobcats' best chance at knotting this game up with 4:52 remaining in the third period in the national championship. Skylar Brindamore, best face-off man in the ECAC, one of the best in the nation, taking the draw against Jackson Nelson, one of the goal scorers of the game. Jackson Nelson's goal stands as the go-ahead right now. They'll do battle in the face-off draw right now. Got to win the face-off battle if you want possession. Now Metza comes away with it off the draw. Bobcats win it. Metza, a shot on net. Another shot, a rebound, and the slot comes out. Puck's loose, and the Gophers get to it first. They go to look, turn, and Johnson sends it out of the zone.
Well, great start to the man advantage. That was a quality chance. Unfortunate bounce right to a Gopher stick and out of the zone, but that was what the Bobcats knew what they were looking for there. They were looking for a lucky bounce on a rebound, and they didn't get it, but that was a good idea there that they had.
DeYoung off to Graf. Graf doing battle in the corner, and he's locked up by Johnson. Lipkin off to the point to Metza. Metza walking the line to Brindamore. Brindamore to Metza. Metza to Lipkin, to DeYoung at the slot. Graf a shot and he's robbed as Close comes all the way across the crease on a one-time opportunity. Peretz coming out to send the puck off. Metza with it on his stick. 1 minute remaining on the power play, 3:58 in the game. Metza with the puck, heads up, looking back to hit a streaking Fillion. Fillion tries to dish it off to Quillen. Puck's in the air to Nyes. Fillion with the puck, stops, looks for a teammate, Tellier, his Sherbrooke native friend. Off to Lee, Lee off to Fillion. Fillion to the point to Tellier. Tellier controlling on the flank. On his forehand, a pass through, a shot, and a rebound comes out, and Quillen's whacking away, and he was one pad whack away from knotting this game up. Close again coming up in the clutch.
Well, it's been a great power play so far for Quinnipiac. Chances all over the place, but just unfortunately for them, unable to get one across the line. Close has been standing on his head for pretty much all this third period, a lot of the second as well. He's been great for Minnesota tonight, and Quinnipiac's going to have to, I mean, they're doing all the right things offensively. They just have to keep digging. Law of averages, one of these eventually has to cross the line. It's just a matter of the amount of time they have left. 3.5 minutes to go, 36 seconds left on the power play. They're running out of clock, but just if they keep up what they're doing, they have a good shot of getting one across the line.
3:28 left in the third period. The Minnesota Golden Gophers are up 2-1 over the Quinnipiac Bobcats. The Bobcats, 36 seconds remaining on the power play, take another timely and strategical time out. We saw Bob Motzko do that to shut things down, slow down the game, and get his team recollected for this. And now Rand Pecknold does so, drawing up a play. We can see him on the whiteboard right now from about, I would say, a good 200 feet in the air. This is one of the tallest arenas I've surely ever been in Amalie. He's talking to his players emphatically. Peretz is still in net. We'll see if they give a signal or not to pull him at any point within the next 3 minutes if they don't capitalize here. 36 seconds. Got to win the draw, possess, and see where you could go from there for the Minnesota Gophers. Essentially do the same thing. And Peretz is going to the net with 3:28 left on this power play opportunity. All the Bobcats players just looked as their netminder and key player in this game has left the net and cage yawning. Faber's on the ice. They're looking to probably jump on this play. They have two guys lined up on the inside, Nevers and Faber alongside Johnson. And Johnson gets to the puck first, but comes around to Tellier. Tellier off to Metza with the extra attacker. DeYoung a shot, and it's blocked by Faber. Graf around the board to Tellier. With the puck, throws a pass off to Lipkin. Lipkin tied up by Johnson. Tellier is tied up by Nevers. Puck comes out. Metz on his stick. Takes the pass, and it comes out of the zone. 3:02 remaining in the game. 10 on the power play. DeYoung in. Tries to beat Johnson, but can't. Lipkin to the net. Has possession. Sends it around to Graf. Graf to Metza. Cooley's out of the box. Graf takes a shot and scores! Colin Graf scores! 2-2 game! 2:47 remaining! The Bobcats have tied the game! Colin Graf comes through in the biggest moment of his career!
We've been talking about Colin Graf all weekend long. He finally comes through. He had 2 assists 2 nights ago. But we have been saying that in the playoffs, he was on a little bit of a dry spell in the goal category, and he finally comes through. This is what legends are made out of. 2:47 to go, and Colin Graf has tied this game up at 2.
Colin Graf is in the building. The Bobcats stave off the empty net and take advantage of that power play. Rand Pecknold now looking like a genius making that move. Matty Nice making a move on Lee. Takes it to the net, and now Cooley has it. The three of the line on the ice and a jump play. They come away with it. Friedman with the puck. Bobbles past the defender. Tries to get to it first. But the Minnesota Gophers come away with it. Cooley through the neutral zone. Johnson off his stick. Friedman on Snuggerud. Snuggerud moving into the offensive end. He's unchallenged. He takes a shot and the rebound comes out fat and wide off of one of the hardest shots on the team from Snuggerud. Snuggerud is a pure sniper. That's why St. Louis drafted him in last year's draft. Entry-level draft, that is, for the NHL. And a play, the official gets in the way, Rossinen comes away with it, dumps it into the offensive end, and it's recollected by Snuggerud. Off a stick and into the Bobcats bench down the tunnel. The Bobcats have tied the game. Now, one goal is the difference. One of these skaters that's dreamed their whole life of being in a moment like this, in one of the biggest stages of 19,000 fans at Amalie Arena, Tampa, Florida, has the game winner on their stick.
Well, I had said that, if Quinnipiac just kept up what they were doing, their pace of play, they were doing everything right. Eventually, it was going to have to work out. It was just a matter of will they beat the clock. They did. They tie this thing up. We're a minute 50 away from potentially a championship game overtime, which is, this is crazy right now. I can't even imagine what that will be like if we do get there. But Quinnipiac did their job thus far. They've gotten this a tie game, and they're right back. They're back in this thing. We're back to square one.
And now Huglin dumps it into the offensive end. Metza on Pitlick. Metza parries it out, and it goes to Faber in the neutral zone. And a walk to Faber. Faber controlling right now. A Let's Go Bobcats chant really echoing in the arena right now as well. The fan sections are really dueling it out. This has been quite interesting to see how energetic the building is here at Amalie Arena tonight. Energetic, electric Tampa Bay Lightning's home arena.
Yeah, I mean, we expected a big turnout from the Minnesota fans. The state of hockey, you knew they'd show out. But there is a ton of navy and gold here, a sign of Quinnipiac. They are everywhere. We've heard Let's Go Bobcat chants quite a bit tonight. We've seen them all week long out in the fan zone, Thunder Alley, out front of Amalie Arena here in Tampa Bay. And it's really, really cool to see all the Quinnipiac fans travel down from Connecticut.
Faber possessing, less than a minute left in the period. And another puck goes flying into the zone. Johnson there first. And a good forecheck play there by Bryce Brodzinski. Puck sent to the point, Faber with it. Faber walks out of the zone, and it's waved as no offsides, but the Bobcats possess anyway. Tellier gets his motor started, sends it into the offensive end, and that's an icing. That'll be interesting to see how close of a call that was. The officials have definitely had to be on their toes tonight, as there have been some very close calls. A face-off to the right of Yaniv Peretz. And the three of the line kind, Nyes, Cooley, Snuggerud on the ice. And for the Bobcats, the official, Rand Pecknold's talking to the official right now, curious as to how that wasn't offsides from Brock Faber, the captain of Minnesota. Face-off, players are in the dot. Quillen, Tellier on the ice for the Bobcats. A weak shot comes off the stick of Faber, and Lombardi chips into the offensive end. My apologies, that's Kester. Mike Kester sends it up the wall to Snuggerud. Cooley using his size and frame to try and get around a defender, but he's blocked off by Ivari Rossin and takes another cross-check play. Looks like they're getting under his skin as they had with Fantilli. Quillen sends it into the offensive end, and Lipkin's on his horse to get there. Sam Lipkin tries to cut off a pass, doesn't succeed, but Graff does in the neutral zone. Tries to send it in off of Snuggerud, and we have zeros on the board. This game is headed to overtime at 2 apiece. Colin Graff tying it within the final 2 minutes on a pulled goalie and man advantage off a closest pad and in the net. The Bobcats got the goal they desired. They're sending this game to overtime here in Tampa Bay, Florida. This game has had everything you could desire as a hockey fan. Eric, the one play that defined it, Colin Graff's game-tying goal.
Well, I mean, you pull the goalie 6-on-4. You think, all right, you're running a huge risk here, but the Bobcats in reality had nothing to lose. They're already down a goal. They just needed one to tie. So I really thought it was a great play there, or a great strategy move by Ren Pecknold to pull the goalie, get 2 extra attackers out there, really make it tough for Minnesota to defend 2 open Bobcats. And Quinnipiac did their job. They tie this game up. Graff gets off the schneid a little bit. He finally gets back on the board. This time, probably the biggest goal of the season by far for him. So that's great to see from his perspective. And we're headed to overtime. This game, like you said, has had everything. Goals, penalties, anything you could think of. There's been scrums after almost every whistle. So why not overtime, right?
And a play where Logan Cooley took an unprecedented penalty really was not necessary, and it ended up hurting his team now. Both teams are stacked. Both goaltenders playing so well. One goal will win this hockey game. One goal will win the national championship to be crowned the best team in college hockey. We're back in 14 minutes for overtime hockey in the national championship. QBSN in Tampa, Florida for the Frozen Four. Welcome back to the national championship on QBSN Radio. I'm Matthew Mugno alongside Eric Zank. Ryan Johansson doing our multimedia on Twitter tonight. It's overtime. One goal, one play separates both teams from a national championship. Those teams, the Minnesota Golden Gophers, haven't won a championship since 2003. The Bobcats have never won a national championship. Not only an NCAA national championship in ice hockey for men's ice hockey, ever in any sport. Both teams coming onto the ice now. Close leading his pack. Perez slowly behind him. They switch sides for this period. Colin Graff tying the game late in the third on a 6-on-4 advantage with the goalie pulled. And we'll have overtime for the national championship, the national title, to be crowned the best team in college hockey in Amalie Arena, Tampa, Florida.
Well, I mean, this is what it all comes down to. There's 2 teams left in the NCAA tournament. The 2 best teams in the entire country are playing tonight. Regulation, 3 periods of hockey, 60 minutes, wasn't enough for these 2 teams to settle the score. Late in the third, right, Rand Pecknold takes a gamble. Nothing to lose. They're on the power play. He says, you know what, get me one more attacker out there. Let's get 6-on-4 going and see if we can generate something, because the 5-on-4 just wasn't doing it. The 6-on-4 did it. Colin Graff sneaks one through the 5-hole, across the line, tie game. We're headed for overtime. Next goal wins. It doesn't get any bigger than this. On this stage, on the college hockey stage, it just doesn't get bigger.
On any stage, virtually.
On any stage, yeah. I mean, this is like Game 7 Stanley Cup final stuff, but on a college level. I mean, the next goal will decide the champion of the 2023 NCAA college hockey season.
And here we go. The draw, the York Hill boys on the ice. And they're up against Nevers, Nelson, and Bryce Brodzinski. Quillen against Nelson. Quillen, puck goes into the Bobcats bench, and we'll have another draw at center ice. 2 seconds off the clock. It's not about time. Well, it is about time and space, but it's not about time on the clock. It's not about if you can escape a period. You have to win the game by making the play, scoring the goal.
That's it. I mean, you know, we talk all game long about it being a defensive-minded game, defense first, and that doesn't change because you have up one goal.
Looking in a pass, a move down it, they score! They score! Jacob Quillen has won the national championship for the Quinnipiac Bobcats, the first in their history! The Bobcats have done it all! They slayed the dragon! The Bobcats are going to Hampton, national champions! The 2023 national champions are the Quinnipiac Bobcats! Oh, have mercy! Have mercy! They've defeated the Minnesota Golden Gophers off the draw. Quillen beat it close on a forehand backhand 2-on-1. National champions.
Well, they did it. Quinnipiac has done it in their 3rd time in the Frozen Four in 10 years. And overall, they finally defeat their opponent. They are NCAA champions. It took all of 10 seconds into the overtime, but Quinnipiac has done it. David beats Goliath. The Bobcats are the champions of college hockey.
The Big Ten killers. The Bobcats knock off Bob Motzko and the Minnesota Gophers. Wow, what a play! Seconds into overtime, 10 seconds into overtime. The Bobcats tally a goal. The York Hill boys come through for the Bobcats, and they are national champions. The Bobcats take home the 2023 national championship from the Frozen Four in Tampa, Florida. They've done the deed, they've done it all. The Bobcats, right off into the sunset, will be forever ingrained in college hockey history. They've won their first national title ever. Rand Pecknold finally has gotten the job done after being snake bitten in 2013 and 2016. And they celebrate joyfully in their own end. What a move, what a goal. Jake Quillen has scribed his name in hockey history.
Well, Quillen, you mentioned him, right? He had 2 goals 2 nights ago. was pretty much the biggest reason, aside from their goaltender, that they're even in this game right now with an opportunity to win. As the players celebrate, it looks like a yard sale on the ice. The sticks, the gloves. Rand Pecknold on the Jumbotron now in tears. He's finally done it. You know, Rand Pecknold took over 29 years ago. He turned Quinnipiac's hockey team from D2 to D1. The first few years, they had to practice at midnight. They didn't have a rink of their own. Teams paid Pecknold to come out and play them because those other teams wanted to rack up wins, and they knew they could do so against a team that they didn't even know how to pronounce. They had never heard of Quinnipiac. Well, tonight was Quinnipiac's third Frozen Four appearance in 10 years. The first two appearances, they came up short in the championship game. Tonight, third time's a charm. They defeat the Michigan Golden Gophers in the championship game in overtime. Their 30th shot of the night is their third goal. Unbelievable.
The York Hill boys come through. Graff ties the game. Quillen etches his name in hockey history with that goal. What a play off the draw. You know what? All that was stated all week long in the pressers. Your team doesn't have the skill that these other teams have. Your team doesn't have the thoroughbred of a Fantilli, the line mates of Cooley, Snuggeroo. Throw that away. Throw it away. The York Hill boys are here to stay. The Bobcats are national champions.
That's it. There's no other way to put it. Quinnipiac is on top. The small town in Connecticut, the small team that plays like a family. That is what the players and Coach Pecknold stressed all week long, is that you can put all your NHL prospects up against us all you want, but we play like a family at Quinnipiac, and they did tonight. They came back, they tied the game with under 3 minutes to go in regulation, and 10 seconds into overtime, the Quinnipiac University Bobcats men's hockey team finally gets the job done.
They've slain the dragon. They ride off into the sunset in hockey history. Yaniv Peretz, the Bobcats have defied all of the odds. The Big Ten Killers defeat college hockey's most feared en route to a national championship off the stick of Jacob Quillen in overtime. Thank you for tuning in to QBSN Radio. The celebrations continuing on the ice. For me, it's most likely my last call for men's ice hockey, potentially for QBSN, and it was a pleasure to come down to Tampa and cover this team in the Frozen Four. They defeat Michigan, advance to the national championship game where they finally get the job done on one goal, Eric.
Well, Matt, it was an honor. I'm a first year, so I still have 3 years left of this, but it was an honor to come down here and call this weekend with you. I never imagined when I first came here even being able to go to Lake Placid with you and call that game, come to Tampa. But it was an honor to call these games with you. And I mean, thanks to the Quinnipiac men's hockey team for winning so much that we even got the opportunity to come down here. It's been a fantastic year. Nobody gave Quinnipiac a shot really all year long. Everyone said, oh, they don't play tough enough opponents in the ECAC. Well, they played some pretty damn tough opponents in the NCAA tournament. Merrimack, Ohio State, Michigan, and now they defeat Minnesota to be crowned the champions of college hockey.
The Bobcats celebrate at center ice. They'll ride into the sunset as we do. Thank you for joining us on QBSN Radio. The Quinnipiac Bobcats are national champions. To the Bobcat Nation, thank you.